too started to change for the worse, and he began to get aggressive.
This has been a really hard month because things have been harder between me and Lee, and it's starting to feel like all we do is fight. He's still been overeating and doing things he shouldn't, and he's even starting to tell me that I shouldn't get surgery, and I don't know why. We missed our last appointment with Dr. Now because Lee didn't want to go because he knows he's overeating, but it was completely selfish of him because it's my turn to get weight loss surgery.
I'm not sure why Lee would tell Renee not to get the surgery, and the only reason I can think of was because he was so embarrassed about not losing weight that he didn't want to see Dr. Now, even if it was at the cost of Renee not changing her life. Now, this attitude change might explain the following events, as when he was in for his next weigh-in, which was not nearly enough weight, Dr. Now gave him his true feelings on Lee.
How y'all doing?
Surviving.
Surviving, huh? So is that why you missed your last appointment? You just had your bypass about 2 months ago, and when you left the hospital, you were down to 546. So you lost only 9 pounds since then. But Renee has lost almost 50 pounds at the same time. And she hasn't even had her bypass yet.
I guess I'm eating the wrong things.
You think it's funny?
Although Lee is laughing now, he won't be soon, as Dr. Now hit him with the cold, hard truth. It's important to point out too that Dr. Now is completely focusing on Lee here, because Renee actually made good progress and without the surgery, so Dr. Now just isn't being harsh for the sake of it and questions Lee's poor excuses, accusing him of playing games.
So what is going on?
I guess I'm not eating the right things. I mean...
We gave you the instruction that you need to follow, and you're not following. You play your cards right until you got the surgery, and now you're playing this kind of game, and you think that's okay? How in the world somebody...
I'm playing any game. I throw up constantly. I eat what I can keep down.
That's how it works. You throw up constantly because the surgery forces you to when you overeat now.
I think my problem is I'm holding a lot of fluid. I can't hardly pee.
Really?
Lee's excuse of holding fluid is one we've heard countless times before, but his next excuse really sent Dr. Now over the edge.
And you think that you're not eating and you're getting...
I don't want to get malnourished either.
Do you look like you're malnourished? You're overeating, and whatever you're overeating, you're throwing up. It means the surgery is working to hold you back when you make bad choices. And it's the only reason that you didn't gain 100 pounds these past 2 months.
After this dressing down from the doctor, Lee decided that he'd had enough, which is when the next disgusting actions occur.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You have been given a tool to help you change your life. Now that you had the surgery, the physical drive to eat is gone.
I'm done with this conversation. Go to her.
No, we're gonna finish with you.
No, we're not finishing with me. You're making me mad.
You sit down right there. You sit down right over there.
No,
Wait, sit down.
Okay.
let go of me, Renee.
All right, this is completely unacceptable.
The way Lee shoves the doctor out of the way and then says fuck you to the man literally trying to save his life is one of the most shocking and frustrating scenes I've seen on the show, and it really speaks volumes on the patience of Dr. Now to actually keep Lee on the weight loss program. Although Dr. Now was harsh on Lee, he was even harsher on Holly, who made a very strange decision on what food to eat before her final weigh-in. Holly appeared in season 7 of the show and is just as delusional as the other patients featured on this list. She moved from her hometown to Houston to be closer to Dr. Now, which gave her the perfect excuse to not lose weight. She claimed because she didn't have any pots or pans that she couldn't possibly cook any food, and as such resorted to eating takeaway Chinese food as a last resort, which she explained with a big smile on her face.
Since we just moved in, we're not really set up to cook, so we're ordering delivery from places around here a lot until we can get some pots and pans and stuff to cook with.
Tonight we had Chinese for dinner. I had cashew chicken and a couple of egg rolls, which isn't the healthiest, but I hadn't eaten since breakfast and Ray hadn't eaten all day, and I tried to pick something that at least had veggies in it.
Somehow, Holly thinks that she is doing well on her diet, despite admitting to eating takeaway Chinese food consistently, which is just packed with calories from fat and oil that they used to cook it in. Now, her thought about losing weight was obviously proven wrong when she stepped onto the scales, as despite trying for months on her journey, she only lost 18 pounds, and Dr. Now was quick to wipe that smile off her face.
But now this time, you had even less progress with only an 18-pound loss in 2 months. So you want to tell me why that is?
I don't know. I thought I was doing good until I saw the scale.
Holly, stop playing games and lying to me. You know exactly what you're doing when you're making your choices you do.
After the initial dressing down, you'd think Holly would get serious with the doctor, but it seemed like the opposite happened, as Holly explains what plays in her head when she wants food.
I've had some trouble with cravings still, and it's just a repeating record in my head that plays over and over and over until I give in. Nothing is working to get past that record playing in my head.
What is record playing saying?
I want chocolate, I want chocolate, I want chocolate, I want chocolate.
So chocolate is more important to you than living, apparently.
Now, one thing I love about the doctor is that he doesn't tolerate any excuses and isn't afraid to put a patient in their place. And if you want to see the patient who truly felt the full rage of Dr. Now, click the video on your screen now to see the story of Stephen Asanti, who is arguably the most disgusting patient ever.
He's handed the keys to Elon Musk and is selling this country for parts to the richest people on the planet for a kickback. And in exchange, they will bankroll his campaigns and those of his allies. They scratch his back, he scratches theirs, and the rest of us are left behind.
So today we are here to say, very loudly and clearly, no, we will not accept an oligarchic form of society where a handful of billionaires run the government. No, we will not accept an authoritarian form of society with a president who undermines the Constitution every day and is working aggressively to take away our freedom of speech and freedom of assembly.
Furious voters voicing their outrage at lawmakers, both Democrats and Republicans. Some Republicans facing heat over supporting the cuts from DOGE. Meanwhile, lots of Democrats being told they're not doing enough to push back against the Trump administration. CNN's Eva McKen is in North Las Vegas, Nevada, where Senator Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just wrapped up a big event. Eva, what happened?
Jake, what struck me about this Fight the Oligarchy tour is there is a very deliberate effort to be nonpartisan. You heard Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez say several times, no matter if you disagree with me on a whole host of issues, if you are willing to fight for working class voters, then you belong here. And that really flies in the face of how the left is often characterized as dogmatic and not pragmatic. But that is not what we are seeing here. Senator Sanders says that he understands that
left always
both parties are captured by big moneyed interests, and this is a real effort, regardless of ideology, to call back the working class and bring them into coalition.
This isn't just about Republicans. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too. We, as a community, must choose and vote for Democrats and elected officials who know how to stand for the working class.
And so, Jake, you heard the Congresswoman there. She didn't spare her own party, even though she didn't mention Senator Schumer by name. This is just one stop over the next several days that they will make. And I'll end with this. There is clearly an appetite for this message. It's unclear if they are peeling off some of the conservative voters that may have voted for Trump. That is certainly the goal here. But the Democratic establishment cannot afford to ignore this energy center of the party. There may be some that try to dismiss this, but they have a lot of enthusiasm here on the ground.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
She gets it. That CNN journalist gets it. No, that's the point. No, that is the goal. And I think that a lot of people who have been yelling at me for the past day also don't understand it either. While I am also feeling as though there's a lot more room for directing this mobilization from both AOC and Bernie Sanders in this tour that they're doing. And it's not just about like talking about how everything is and then leaving people directionless, leaving people rudderless. And I talked extensively about how to fix that. I think doing something similar to what Zoran's been doing in New York in the mayoral race is a much more solid approach here. But like mobilizing this support, this base of support towards individual causes where you can protest and agitate is a way to not only draw home the message, but it's also a way for you to be able to, it's also a way for Bernie and AOC to be able to basically show that this message is effective and can lead to tangible change. Okay? It's not just about like screaming tax the rich. It's about going like, it's not about saying we're not going to give another dollar to Israel. It's about going to and doing a rally outside of the courthouse where where Mahmoud Khalil has a deportation proceeding. Like, it's about facilitating real change. It's about using the momentum and using the popularity towards singular issues of harm in a way to possibly make change with this direct demonstration of support. I think this is the type of stuff that they could be doing, and I wish that they would do more of that. But I think right now, the goal here seemingly is to show the Democratic Party that there is still a lot of momentum behind Bernie's left populist politics. Now, will they listen? I don't think so. Is it a foolhardy endeavor if it stays in this, if it just simply is just doing rallies over and over again? Yes. That's why I'm saying I think it'd be better served if there were direct organizing initiatives associated with this. Instead of just saying, you know, join community organizations, work with the community organizations, and get people to support said community organizations at your rallies, for example. That, I think, is a better usage of the time and space that they have right now and the place that they're occupying right now, beyond simply just saying the Democratic Party needs to see the popular momentum behind Bernie's politics and reshape their message. Although I do think that to a certain degree, Bernie has been able to make a lot of these ideas that were not even considered in mainstream media significantly more palatable.
Wages that Democrats would do a lot better with voters if they looked less like diplomats searching for a compromise and looked more like prize fighters for the working class.
This isn't just about Republicans. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too. But what that means is that we, as a community, must choose and vote for Democrats and elected officials who know how to stand for the working class. I want you to look at every level of office around and support brawlers who fight, because those are the ones who can actually win against Republicans. Let's be real about that.
Brawlers. I assume you approve this message.
100%, absolutely. Democrats are in a crisis right now. They're on life support. They have a testicular fortitude problem. They're not fighting nearly as hard as they need to fight for the American people, as was seen last week during this CR vote in the Senate. It's a problem. And for me, it's not about the parties, because the parties are going to kind of do their thing. It's about the people rising up and holding the parties accountable. Democrats have fighters. Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Ayanna Pressley, the whole squad, Greg Casar, Pramila Jayapal, and governors and mayors across the country are fighters. But we need some of the OGs in the party to elevate, uplift the younger people,
or do they
and
need
take a step
to?
back.
Do they need to step aside?
And or step aside, because we need to hear new, fresh, bold voices. That's what the American people want. And if the party doesn't do that, the party is about to be finished.
I hope that AOC, Pramila Jayapal, Greg Cesar, I hope they're the new face of the Democratic Party, because Republicans will be winning elections all over the country if that is the face of the Democratic Party. Are you?
I mean,
listen, a district like mine that Joe Biden won by 10 points, okay, 10 points. Kamala Harris won by half a point. Okay, I won by 6.5 points, 24,000 votes in a district that has 85,000 more Democrats than Republicans. Why?
And you're right.
Because the Democrats.
But you ran against a cornball candidate.
He was your friend.
He was not my friend.
He was your friend
You
long
had
ago.
someone run against you who was not a strong candidate. And we still
we agree on.
We still have consultants and big money controlling the Democratic Party, compromising it.
Outperform Kamala Harris in her district.
Now.
Trump did
Sure.
Trump did better than
But here's my point. The New York, look no further than New York, where issues like cashless bail have been a disaster. Issues like sanctuary state status, congestion pricing. In districts like mine, where Democrats on paper should win big, they're losing. And so if the messenger is AOC, who, by the way, was originally from my district, she grew up in Yorktown, not the Bronx. If AOC is the face of the Democratic Party in swing districts all across this country, she will mobilize voters way more than Nancy Pelosi ever did.
Let me just add that.
Yeah, the thing that this man is refusing to recognize, he's a moron, is Bernie Sanders. For one reason or another, Bernie Sanders is seen as an authentic figure in ways that AOC is not by swing voters. AOC has a lot of national prominence, but unfortunately, alongside that national prominence, he has a lot of haters as well. Bernie, on the other hand, seemingly, while advocating for quite similar opinions on issues, is seen as a much more powerful and much more popular figure. And no, I don't think it's because of, I don't think it's entirely due to AOC being a woman and Bernie being a white man. No, I don't think it's just that. Although that certainly factors into the equation, of course. The notion that, like, if the entirety of the Democratic Party across the board were Bernie-style figures, the Republicans would never even have a single election that they win ever again. If the entirety of the Democratic Party resembled Bernie-style politics and actively pushed for it and voted for it and demonstrated real change at the legislative level, there would never be another Republican election won. Nah, that's cope, to be honest. It absolutely is not cope. What are you talking about? We have a Bernie-style leadership historically in the Democratic Party that led to basically half of a century of Democratic Party dominance. What are you talking about? We still eat off of the advancements made under FDR. New Deal Democrats shaped the first half of the last 100 years. And the Reaganite neoliberalism has shaped American politics for the last half of the 100 years. When Democrats were dominant, Republicans would be forced to follow suit, would be getting their notes from the Democrats. The agenda was shaped by moving the needle in the direction of progress. And a lot of American prosperity took place as a consequence of that. And then the Republicans basically turned everything around. I would say Carter kickstarted that process fairly aggressively, and foreign policy played a major role in this as well. But Carter's neoliberalism made way for Ronald Reagan to stab the country in the heart. You're overlooking a century of Red Scare propaganda? Sure, that plays a role in this. But let me tell you, Americans who can be convinced on idiotic things such as concentration camps at the border will magically solve your cost of living crisis can also be convinced that anti-capitalist policies will truly solve the cost of living crisis if advocated for aggressively, earnestly. Bernie Sanders is unironically a living, breathing example of this. On the global stage, he does not carry himself nor present himself as a radical socialist or a Marxist-Leninist or anything like that, and he's not. But the policies that he's always firmly held committed to are all inherently anti-capitalist policies. They are policies that impact capital, harm the profit motive at the behest of improving social welfare. His popularity speaks for itself. That's it. So you don't even have to present yourself as a Marxist-Leninist because obviously, yes, Red Scare propaganda is incredibly powerful. America has a genuine force in terms of anti-communism that is irreconcilable. There is no way of dealing with that. But one example I will present to you is the accidental good policy that even the Kamala camp advocated for, which was price controls. She presented it in a way that liberals could also associate positively with. And that was her most successful policy because Americans don't give a when you say, I'm going to bring these prices down no matter what. They don't care. They're like, hell yes, I want that. I want it now. I want it bad. Please give it to me. I don't care what you do. That's why I used to joke and say, like, if she literally went on stage and was like, I am going to present to you a unique opportunity to make prices 10% cheaper across the board. And the only way to do that is by, putting the Walton family in permanent prison or maybe even capital punishment towards them. Americans will be on board with it. You'd be scared of how excited Americans will be at that because they just want solutions. It's not that hard. That's it. They just want solutions, man. The Democrats won't even broach that subject matter, unfortunately.
The counterpoint within the Democratic Party to what AOC is saying from, this is Elisa Slotkin. She gave the Democratic response to the State of the Union address much more of a moderate voice in the party. Listen.
I can't just chain myself to the White House and become an activist full time because you and others here are going to call me for things that you need. All of those things require me to be more than just an AOC. I can't do what she does because we live in a purple state.
Oh my, shut up.
And I'm a pragmatist. I gotta save things for my people.
See that?
Things are getting messy.
Come on, son.
It's getting very messy.
That's white flag energy right there.
Names are
That's white flag energy right there.
No, I think she's right. I think
she's right. First of all, even choosing her to give the response to Governor Trump.
That's your party.
Governor Trump. I should call him Governor Trump. President Trump was a problem.
You should be the chairman, by the way.
I mean,
the advice you gave him.
Go ahead, brother.
She is right in the sense that it's easy to throw grenades. You can be an AOC and throw grenades all day in a safe district.
Republican running for Republican in office, Mike Lawler, sitting across from former Republican leader in the New York City Council, talking to Jamal Bowman. Like, what is happening here? Why is the market so flooded with Matt Iglesias prototypes? Yeah, man, I think I don't want to hear from you as a New York Republican. I think your word doesn't mean anything about the future of the Democratic Party. Like, why would anybody listen to you? Except that's all the Democrats listen to. That's why they keep losing.
They should not have to account for anything. There's a huge delta between the hype of AOC and the accomplishments of AOC. And frankly, if you look at that tour she was just on with Bernie Sanders, right? It was called the Fighting Oligarchy Tour, right? They essentially traveled the country and spoke to an echo chamber of people who already agree with them. How is she and Bernie Sanders, with their message, going to attract people in swing districts
I
by the
guess
Fighting
what I wonder
Oligarchy
is
Tour?
maybe what they're looking at is actually...
I'm scared of AOC.
Dog, they're going to swing districts. Like, they were in Nevada. What are you talking about? The entire point of the Fighting Oligarchy Tour is to go to swing districts. Every place that they go to is a swing district, dumbass. Sometimes directly right-wing areas. Why would you ever listen to this guy, man? Is it because you accidentally thought he was Matt Iglesias? And that's the only guy you respond to?
I welcome her to
there
my
are Democrats I'm scared. There are Democrats
Maybe
I'm
what
scared
they're
of
looking
her.
at,
Joe, is what the Republicans did, which is all of the guys who stood around screaming in Congress and not passing any legislation, those folks are in power now. They won at the end of the day.
I think that this is where I will actually agree with you. I do think that there is a difference between Bernie Sanders and AOC going and talking to our base, and a difference between the senator who was just elected, has to show results for her state, has to, in a swing state, a battleground state, and she has to deliver something, versus AOC and Bernie are just, they're talking about the base. I will say, I was at the DNC in 2017 after almost this exact same situation. Bernie Sanders as Chuck Schumer, let me go out and talk to our base. This is exactly what he did in 2016. It's 2017. This is deja vu. You know what happened when Nancy Pelosi? Everybody was asking for her to resign. You know what she did? She embraced the new generation of the Democratic Party, lifted them up, and said, you know what? I'm going to step aside after the midterm elections, and I'm going to lift everybody else up.
And that's why she worked to block AOC from becoming a ranking member of the committee.
That also happened.
The tens of millions of people who are staying home, they're staying home because we're not elevating new voices in the Democratic Party.
No, you're not. Your chairs are mobilized.
I think to Congressman Lawler's point, this is not just a Chuck Schumer thing. I think it's happening pretty broadly among some of the older contingent in the Democratic Party.
Ooh, hey. Hi. Top of the morning to you.
Hey, what's up?
Hey guys, welcome back to YouTube. I'm the host of YouTube. And today on the, what was I just trying to say? And today on the show, we have a very special guest, YouTube. Hi, YouTube, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Hold on, let me check your views. Ooh, terrible views. Oh, no, terrible views.
They're not that bad, YouTube. Come on, man.
Is this for kids?
What's that, YouTube?
I said, is this content for kids?
Not really.
Oh, man, so stupid. I got an idea. Hey, I got an idea. You do a video where you and your friends are locked in the Eiffel Tower, and maybe you have to bite each other or something. Wait, hold on. The first guy to bite another guy. I forgot what I was talking about again.
Okay, thanks, YouTube. I'll look into that.
I think everybody should just get over it and realize what's really going on here. This guy is an American hero.
Right.
He's an incredible entrepreneur. Great.
Whoa, wait a second. Hey, that's Kevin Sharkston. That's Kevin Shark's Tank.
Here, this guy is an American hero.
Yeah.
He's an incredible entrepreneur, great executional skills, and everybody burns his cars.
Sick.
I'd like to see them in prison as terrorists.
Whoa, Kevin.
Dagan, let me go to you on that because
Easy, Kevin.
Terrorism.
I always say, dangerous morons will moron dangerously, and look no further.
That's pretty good.
Let's welcome to the show the co-host of Shark Tank. He's Mr. Wonderful himself.
Hey, man, this guy's all over the place. Oh, man, Kevin Sharkston is really on this one.
He's one of the sharks.
Or as they're often called, the
dangerous morons.
Let's welcome to the show the co-host of Shark Tank. He's Mr. Wonderful himself.
Welcome,
Kevin
man.
O'Leary. Kevin, we love having you on. Thank you so much for being with us. What do you make of all this? By the way,
I love it.
This is lawlessness, and part of the mandate that the administration got elected on was to stop this. I hope they come down hard on these people. I'd like to...
What's all that rustling in the background? Let's hear that again.
That the administration got elected on was to stop this. I hope they come down hard on these people. I'd like to see them serve their time.
What's that, Kevin?
This is not what people do.
I see nothing that you have done except help our country.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of...
Hold on, let's give Elon Musk the Fox News sound treatment.
Of really
right, Elon, exactly, man.
From the left.
Totally, bro.
I see nothing that you have done except help our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left.
Ooh, this has gotten completely out of control. This has gotten completely out of control. I myself, as a Tesla owner, I've been targeted.
I've been targeted as well, man.
I was pulled over simply for being a Tesla owner. They cover up the reasons, you know, blood alcohol level this, school zone that.
Actually, this includes the lowest rated, by the way, officially on cancellation watch notice, and most emotional late night host.
Is that a real award?
Our old friend, that jerk, Jimmy Kimmel. Take a look. And Disney's run by a guy by the name of Bob Iger. Bob, are you okay with this seeming glorification of violence?
Tattling on the guy? All right. Tattling on the whatever. Tattling on some late night guy. But anyway, man, oh man, everybody's talking about this. Everybody on YouTube, even children's channels, are talking about this. But anyway, in my research, it is research, shut up, man. Boom. I came across, I found this Reddit message board where they were talking about this, going back and forth, bet about this. This guy kind of read my mind. What did he write at the end here? The market and China will take care of Tesla. Let's check out some of these headlines here. Okay? How Tesla blew its lead. BYD took the global EV crown. Now Chinese rivals and local startups are taking over emerging markets. Oh, that sounds bad. Once a world leader in the electric vehicle market, the company's sales across U.S., China, and several European countries fell year-on-year in February, and its stock price dropped almost 50%. 50%? Whoa, that's one of these. From a mid-December peak. What the hell does this goddamn thing right here say? In Germany, where Musk supported the right-wing populist party, Tesla's sales collapsed 76% last month. In the U.S., the company saw a 6% decline. In China, Tesla sales fell 49%. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Let's check this out. Oh, this is from Business Insider. Wait, this is for insiders? Am I allowed to read this? I believe I'm not allowed to read. Sorry, guys. I was going to read some of this. I don't think I'm authorized. 8 falling Tesla sales numbers that should worry. Iluma. Okay, let's check them out. Okay, Australia. Sales are down 71%. Whoa, this seems bad. Germany, 76. Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, 42 to 48% down. France, down 26%. US, down, now it's 11%. Tesla's manufactured in China, down 50%. Yeah, I don't know. You look at all this and you go, I don't know about that. I was driving around and I saw one of these Tesla cars today, or as I call them, Uber cars. And now people are putting stickers on their Tesla that's like, must crossed out. That is sort of weird to have to buy like an expensive boutique car and then put a stupid sticker on it that's like, I don't support that. Please don't damage this stupid thing. But it's like you see all these falling numbers for this company, and then there's like a much better competitor, but this doesn't look good. But then I was thinking, like, what the hell was going to happen to this company anyway, you know? It seems like the stock price was always inflated. There's a much better Chinese competitor. He was making all these promises. Oh, they're going to fly? I don't know.
They're going to fly and you can grow food in them.
U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order to develop a next-generation missile defense shield for the U.S. modeled after Israel's Iron Dome.
So yeah, this is my guess to what's going on. I don't think Tesla was ever really going to go anywhere. Super inflated stock price, going down. So maybe this is the move, oh, look at all this government spending we freed up. Now I can build space rockets. Now I can build a space rocket dome to protect us from the constant missiles that are being launched at us every day, all the time.
I'd like to play for you this video that's going viral.
No problem.
Of a young woman.
Okay.
And this is what your anti-Tesla, your far-left worldview actually is.
Anti-Tesla far... I'm part of the ATL party, the anti-Tesla left.
Your anti-Tesla, your far-left worldview actually is.
Absolutely.
You've been warned.
People keep correcting me, telling me that it's Cybertruck and not Tesla truck. I don't fucking care. I don't care what it's called. I hate them. I need them off the streets.
Okay, I'm gonna pause right now and say, I'm gonna go ahead and just guess. This is, it's a joke. It's satirical.
Yeah.
I ain't falling for this, you guys.
Yeah, then why the lead-in? Okay, not great for your segment here, though, but, oh, God, this guy's always the best. Always brings the smoke. You know, look at these people are crazy. This is probably a joke. Okay, I don't know. This doesn't seem good for a brand. What I'm about to read here. What the hell is this goddamn thing? Hey, what is this? I can't read that. Oh, r/electric vehicles. Okay. What are you guys going on there going like this? About your vehicles? The r/electric vehicles subreddit is filled with
dangerous morons.
Okay, let's just casually flip through this. Farewell Tesla. Hello Lucid. Okay, come on. From 2 Teslas to none. Yeah, they're all like this. Tesla confirms it can't sell Cybertruck even with a tax credit and discounts. Okay, doesn't sound great. Okay, another one of these. From 2 Teslas to 2 EVs, glad to be Musk free. All right. 46,000 Tesla Cybertrucks recalled for flying trim pieces. Okay. The electric vehicle subreddit, which again is populated by
dangerous morons.
It's kind of turned into just a she spit on them festival about Tesla. Me and my wife traded in our Tesla for a different car. Okay. Here's a funny one. I have an insurance question, and not just for Tesla insurance, but any insurance regarding paint damage. Does anyone have insurance coverage for a wrapped Tesla? Is there a way to get it covered if anything happens, like people painting it? Okay, that's a good question to ask when you're buying a car. Hey, is anybody gonna spray paint a swastika on this goddamn piece of crap? Okay, here's another post. 94% say they won't buy a Tesla car in Germany. They will not buy Uber cars in Germany. Germany, a place filled with
dangerous morons.
Okay, here's another one. Tesla insurance rates set to spike as cars become vandalism targets. Tesla owners could start paying higher insurance premiums. Okay, that's great.
Okay, Tesla is one of the early pioneers and makes Mr. Elon Musk a household name. And rich, very rich. Why? Mr. Biden, first Mr. Trump put a 27% tariff on electric vehicles from China.
You're lying about
that. And then Mr. Biden, while he was still president, raised it to 100%.
This is pretty wacky stuff, this Tesla story. If you just take it at face value, you know, they're like, hey, look, this company Tesla, they can't compete with these Chinese cars.
Generally speaking.
No, they can't compete with these goddamn Chinese cars. How about this? People here can't buy those Chinese cars. Problem solved. So the biggest competitor is eliminated there. All right, Elon Musk. We eliminated your biggest competitor. Don't mess this up, man.
So that's the other questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Elon.
Hey.
My name's Dom. I've been here for a little over a year now.
Hi.
I work in people development.
Okay.
We make so many amazing things. Right now, it's still the people that do it.
Making people.
When we think about applying first principles to the relationships and the teams
Don't understand the question.
How would you encourage us to think about that and act on those first principles when it comes to relationships and teams?
I don't understand the question. Please say it again. Next question. This is sort of weird. Tesla uploads these, what the hell is this stupid thing called? All hands meeting. So I guess this is people who work at Tesla. It is just kind of odd, to see all these YouTubes and stories where they're like, nah, everybody hates this brand now. People are all pissed off at this brand. Then they do this live streamed meeting, and everybody who works for the company is like, yeah, Elon, I got a 2-part question. Part 1, how do you get such great ideas? Part 2, what advice do you have for me as a team leader? This is funny. A lot of these local news stations are interviewing, I don't know, people who have Tesla cars, people who have Uber cars. They're filling some time with this. Check this out.
But he probably never saw this coming.
Daily, I do get a lot of middle fingers. It does not bother me as much when I'm by myself, but when we have kids inside the car, it's kind of disappointing a little bit and sad.
What was supposed to be a fun night out changed after finding a hateful message written on his passenger side window, including the word Nazi and another 4-letter word.
Whoa.
The person who did it probably didn't know there are cameras.
That is still funny that local news still has that vibe, they walk into frame. I'm here in front of a car. Someone wrote fuck, shit, God damn it on there. But I put my hands like this because it's the news. I do kind of love this when local news channels get out into the street. We got to get some B-roll for this thing. It's a national story. We got to cover this. Let's Let's talk to somebody out there.
Amid the boycotts and protests, some Tesla owners are taking action. One man in Georgia is so mad at Musk, he took the Tesla decals off his car. Paul Rankin used a heat gun, then just kind of pulled that decal off with
How
his
did they
fingers.
find this guy?
He says he removed the Tesla badges in protest because Musk is not an elected official.
Like, how does local news work? I kind of want to know. Did this guy call in? He's like, oh, yeah, hey, I got a scoop. I tore the decals off my car. How quick can you get over here? Yeah, you know, people were sticking their middle finger up at me. Then I took the decals off. Now when they start to do it, they get confused. Wait a second, is that even a Tesla car? Then by the time they get that finger up, before that finger's even up, I'm out of there. Anyway, you guys got any other questions for me? Okay, one more of my new favorite thing to do, watch local news interviews of random people on the street. I like this guy. Couldn't be bothered to get out of his car.
Brian Baudoin has owned...
Oh, I'm a big Brian Baudoin fan. Go ahead.
...his Tesla for nearly 3 years now. Okay. He says he wants a new car, but can't get one right now, so he's doing what he can to protect his car.
Just have a sticker ordered that says that this Tesla is against what Elon's doing, so... Hopefully, we can put that on the vehicle and people not vandalize it.
Recent vandalism.
Oh man, poor Brian Baudoin. You know, he's got to order a sticker. Yeah, look, I paid a bunch for this expensive car. Now it's got a giant sticker on the back. Takes up the whole back. Hey, Brian Baudoin, what does the sticker say? It says, hey, look, man, come on. I'm just a guy. I've got nothing to do with it. I'm just kind of doing my thing, you know.
Please, I don't want to have to pay a repair shop. My name's Brian Baudoin.
A heartwarming and inspiring message from the great Brian Baudoin. Back to you. Well, guys, from Brian Baudoin and all of us here at the Arm Bound program, we wish you the best of weekends. If you have a bad weekend, that's on you. I got nothing to do with it.
Leave me out of it.
But I hope you have a great weekend. Go out with your friends who are a bunch of
dangerous morons.
You know, and as you're going through your weekend, having a great time, living your life, just please remember that videos aren't real. Bye-bye.
Hey, guys, you remember me from earlier? Hey, I'm not YouTube anymore. I'm an actor. I'm the factor, and I was playing a role in that piece.
This week, there was an agreement announced between the new Al-Qaeda Syria government and the Syrian Defense Forces, SDF, or the Syrian Democratic Forces, rather, which are the main Kurdish military organization, which is interesting, especially given that this coincides with the agreement or like a seeming surrender by the PKK in Turkey, or some sort of agreement between them and the Turkish government. Basically, like a week after that, this happened. So it maybe is related, but I don't think this is a good thing. I guess it depends on the terms, but the fact that these two things are happening at the same time makes me very suspicious as to the machinations that are behind this, given that the coercive power of Turkey and the US together, when the new Syrian central government is backed by Turkey and the US as well against the Kurds both in Turkey and in Syria, is something to be very suspicious of. It's especially suspicious given that up until very recently, the SDF was fighting groups linked to the Syrian government and that are even more closely backed by Turkey than the Syrian government ever has been. The commander of the SDF signed this agreement directly with codename Al-Jalani, the former emir of an Al-Qaeda affiliate called Al-Nusra Front. Imagine going from like the emir dressed like the fucking Ayatollah of Iran to this. I gotta say though, I like this suit. At least he's going for different colors. It's interesting. It's not stereotypical. I wonder if this is halal or not. So the agreement includes a complete cessation of hostilities, the handover of control of the region's border posts, airport and vital oil and gas fields. It also recognizes the Kurdish minority as an integral part of the Syrian state and guarantees the rights of all Syrians to representation and participation in the political process. I mean, that's not really an agreement. That's supposedly something that they already should have existed. So that it needs to be a part of the agreement is a bit worrying. This is also as concurrent with the ongoing mass killings of Alawite civilians by militias linked to the Al-Qaeda government as well. And Israel has been bombing Syria. It's just all a clusterfuck. I don't have any faith in this, obviously. I find it very weird that the Kurds caved so quickly, but I mean, they were US backed, so it's a lot easier to pressure them now that they're probably not very useful to U.S. imperialism anymore. And in fact, if they kept pursuing their own interests, they wouldn't be useful to it anymore at all, especially with Turkey there as well. It's a losing battle for them, though. Yeah. Previously, like, they wanted, their goal was like autonomy within Syria, like an autonomous region within Syria. Now they have signed an agreement that does not seem anything close to that. It's just really almost nothing. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens here, but I do not have much faith in this going well. It's honestly hard to say if this is better than the civil war still being ongoing or not, because the situation is not good at all. Hopefully it at least leads to some form of stability, and this is not just like basically an unconditional surrender, because that would be fucking hilarious, especially given the fact that, I mean, hilarious isn't the right way to put it. Obviously, I'm not laughing at this at all, but it would be hilarious in a way, because Rojava and the government there has been propped up by like white anarchists and stuff all over the world as like an example to follow. And now they have just signed an agreement, like the leadership of this place, which according to the anarchists didn't actually have a leadership, because they don't believe in hierarchies according to them, which was a complete crock of shit, by the way. They always had their own little state apparatus there and everything. But now the leaders of this supposedly anarchist commune, or like whatever the fuck they called it, have signed an agreement to essentially reintegrate themselves into Syria with scarcely little concessions being given to them. Honestly, it might just show that they've been a US puppet all along, because this is like embarrassing. It's almost nothing. It's not like they're in a position of weakness or anything, though I guess with the Turkish coercion they may be, but maybe this is part of like a wider deal with Turkey behind the scenes or something that is concurrent with the PKK thing. Maybe there will be some good outcome here. I'm holding out hope, because obviously I know what's happening precisely behind the scenes, but I can't help but have very low expectations for this, given the much more powerful forces that are behind a lot of these groups and that have pervasive influence over them, Turkey and the US mainly. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't want to make any pronouncements soon, but we'll see what happens. Look, you can call it whatever you want, democratic and federalism. It was a generic nation state, or at least their own little attempt at a generic nation state. They had a parliament, they had like a head of government, not a head of state precisely, but something analogous to it. Hierarchical, same sort of thing as always. Modeled on every other liberal nation state in the world. Nothing special. If you comment below this, by the way, with some white anarchist bullshit trying to explain how it is actually special because they named it something else, I'll just permanently ban you on site. These men think that because they changed the name of things, they have changed the things themselves. What more is there to say?
We've given up the lead.
Phase the plasma rifle in the 40-watt range.
Commencing surveillance operation.
Ready. Hostile removed. Grenade coming in.
Timeline 50% expended.
Hardpoint is secure.
He is originally from Guatemala and has been living in the U.S. for over 2 decades. Now he's leaving behind his wife and kids.
Okay, dude. This motherfucker hates his wife and children, bro. I'm sorry. Yeah, also they did that. They racially profiled the U.S. citizen and almost deported him. I know. It was a fucking Trump supporter, too. It's so funny. Okay, there's another one. No, this is not the wife one. The wife one is the funniest one.
A Wisconsin man says his wife is in an ICE detention facility after being taken into custody on their way back from their honeymoon.
The woman, who is from Peru, came to Wisconsin legally to work, but overstayed her visa. Fox 6's Bria Jones with why the husband says he's sticking by his wife and his presidential vote, despite the policies likely leading to their split.
The fucking wife one is the funniest one. It's harrowing, but it's like one of the unique ones where it's like, it's so insane that it's kind of funny because of the response of the Trump supporting husband. I tweeted about it last night. Look at this one. This story is actually psychotic. I don't regret the vote, Bradley Bartell said after his wife was detained by ICE as they returned home from their honeymoon. Bartell is looking to raise $3,000 towards Camilla Munoz's release from ICE custody. This is not The Onion. This is a real American hog.
If you would have foresaw this situation happening with your wife being detained, would you have voted differently?
I still feel like I voted for the two evils. I'm not really a hardliner, but in this case, the support for Trump is you know, it's still there.
This is not The Onion. This is not fake. This is not Babylon Bee. This is Newsweek. That is a real article written by a real American patriot, written about a real American patriot. A real American patriot who went on a honeymoon with his wife, and then they returned from their honeymoon, and ICE apprehended her. Bradley Bartel's wife, Camila Munoz, a Peruvian citizen who overstayed her initial visa, but was working towards obtaining a permanent residency in the United States. Despite the couple's ordeal, Bartel still supports Trump, who has vowed to conduct the largest mass deportation operation in U.S. history. I don't regret the vote, Bartel told Newsweek in an exclusive statement. Bro, if she ever gets out of prison and isn't sent to the slave labor camp in El Salvador and reads this article, I feel like they're not going to be married for much longer. I read this, I'm going to be like, yeah, send me back to Peru, dude. What the hell is this? This sucks. She's also a Trump supporter. Yeah, I don't think she still is. Or maybe she is. I don't know. Dude, I don't know how deep the I mean, at least this guy was like, yeah, after I was falsely detained, I thought maybe not the best idea, you know? This is a very like leopards ate my face moment. Like his face got eaten, but only half eaten, you know? So he was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have supported Trump, but like maybe the wife is like, nah, it's actually sick. I am a terrorist. I am a Peruvian terrorist. And the government really did a really good job. The government really cooked with this. They really should have detained me. I am a threat to the American government. Thank God, Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, once again, did the best. Don't tread on me equals arrest my wife, Mr. President. If you do, I'll say you're the best. It must have been a mistake. My mistake.
My wife, please.
I don't want to keep breaking the law. OP resident chooses self-deportation after 2 decades in the U.S. What?
We are nearing 1 month into President Donald Trump's second term into office, and immigration has become a top priority, something we've seen in our own very backyard. This is video from a worksite enforcement operation in Liberty when immigration and customs enforcement detained multiple people. Well, tonight, we are turning over the mic to an undocumented man who says he's leaving the country before actions are taken.
I'm KSHB reporter Fernando Silva, and I spoke to a person who lives in Overland Park and is self-deporting. He is originally from Guatemala and has been living in the U.S. for over 2 decades. Now he's leaving behind his wife and kids.
Okay, dude. Okay. This motherfucker hates his wife and children, bro. I'm sorry. He just... Yo, sure, bud. Look at him. He's miserable. Look at him. He's miserable, dog. He's like... Like the weather sucks, dude.
I don't want to keep breaking the law.
Carlos Pacheco crossed the border 22 years ago. Now he is ready to go back home. How do you feel deciding to return after so long?
Feliz. Happy.
Happy?
Feliz.
¿Por qué?
Happy.
Yeah, he is happy. Happy, bro. You want to know why? Like, I'm finally done. I'm done. I'm done with this shit. I hate my wife. My kids are constantly on the iPad. They're talking skibidi toilet. Okay, they're talking phantom tax. I don't understand it. I don't give a fuck about none of this. I'm trying to go back to Guatemala, get some pussy. This shit sucks. The weather is ass over here. I was wrong. This is not the land of the free. It's not the home of the brave. There's just like... There's only a little bit of gruel that I can consume at the end of the long business day that I conducted, where I, you know, had to do horrible labor for pennies on the dollar. I'm done. I'm out. Fuck my kids. I hate them. But my mother is waiting for me.
He hasn't seen his mom since he moved to the United States.
I don't want to lose her without being able to hug her again.
While his family's waiting for him in Guatemala, he's also leaving family.
It's so funny to do a press conference like this. Oh, God, I love small town news. You know what I mean? It's awesome. This guy's great. He's just like, I'm doing a press conference. I'm taking my talents back to Guatemala. Yeah, I'm self-deporting.
Behind.
The situation is difficult. It's painful. It's necessary.
Carlos Pacheco, originally from Guatemala. This man does not... This man... Bro's the LeBron James of cheating on his wife, dude. Okay, which LeBron would never, of course, obviously. saying like LeBron James to basketball is Carlos Pacheco to cheating on his wife. He did the decision video, but for moving back to Guatemala.
It's necessary.
He says his wife and kids are documented, but he received a deportation order. Now he wants to leave for his peace.
I'm aware that they don't want us. And it's time to go back. We have to do it.
He's also maybe giving up the right of ever seeing his wife and children again.
Immigration lawyer Roger McCruman is not familiar with Carlos Pacheco's specific situation, but deals with similar cases.
Would you say that the self-deportation process is simpler and easier than the deportation process?
Yeah, I mean, it's better than being escorted out of the country in handcuffs. I mean, you're leaving on your own free will. It is at your own expense. If the government deports you, they pay for it.
A price Carlos is willing to pay.
They've told me I'm a coward for abandoning my family. But on the contrary,
bro,
we know where we were born.
Bro, this man does not like the cold winter. Look at him. Like, he just straight up is like, look around, man. This shit sucks. I got a off-brand North Face on me, and it's not doing the job. There is snow on my body. I am shivering. I don't want to be here no more, okay? Y'all are racist as hell. I don't want to be here. I hate my bitch-ass wife. I hate my stupid-ass children. I want to leave. I need to go back to Guatemala.
But don't know where we will die.
He's like, I don't even have one jacket. I got 2 jackets on, and it's still cold as shit.
In Guatemala, he has hopes of better and warmer days.
I'm telling you, dude. Even the journalist recognizes it. She knows what's up. She knows what's up. Yep, caught.
That's not what we were doing at the Pentagon.
I might add that I think Elon, if they ever wanted to do that, I think Elon wouldn't do it. I think he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't want to put himself in that position.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's so good. Oh, dude. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, Elon cares about America. Oh my God. That's an amazing take. First of all, no billionaire cares about anything but putting another zero next to their net worth. Okay. Now let's get back to the state of affairs at the national level. Donald Trump.
Releasing that because many presidents have gone through it and they haven't released. And I said, release. We even released Social Security numbers. I didn't want anything deleted. They said, sir, what about Social Security? People long gone, but they're long gone, so I can't imagine. But I said, if you don't delete it, if you do delete it, we have people are going to say, why did you delete it? There's something in there. So we gave Social Security, we gave everything. And the rest is for you to look at, Peter. You're going to see whether or not you see anything. But we've given it. We're doing it with Dr. Martin Luther King, too. They're preparing all of that. They're going to release everything. And
that's crazy. Okay, that's wild. Wait, what do you mean? So he's going to release the files on MLK's assassination? Ain't no way, dude. Ain't no way are they going to release the full files. Dude, there's no shot. I guess maybe because he hates the FBI, right? Maybe he's like, yeah, that's right. I hate the FBI. They came after me just like MLK. They killed him just like they tried to kill me.
Whoever else they want. I mean, you know, we have nothing. We really have nothing to hide. We should.
It is amazing how much play podcasters get. Like, it is we are living in the podcast world, dude. This is the podcasters universe. We are just simply living in the podcasters universe.
And, you know, when a lot of time goes by, but with the Kennedy files in particular, they were going crazy on them. I don't think there's anything that's earth-shattering, but you'll have to make that determination. In those, you know, it's 80,000, it's actually 88,000, and we have some additional things, as you know, come out today. And for that, you can go to the offices and you can see whatever you want to see. Everything is out there, totally open. The additional stuff is available later on today. You go over to the offices and you can have it immediately. and you'll make a determination.
And on something else, these Trende Aragua guys, because of your executive order, they are designated as foreign.
Yeah.
If ISIS or Al-Qaeda were operating here in the United States, cops would probably be shooting first and asking questions later. And so what is the difference between somebody like an ISIS or an Al-Qaeda operative versus a MS-13 or Trende Aragua?
Well, these are people that focus on destroying people in their homes. They're not as international in that sense. They're a group of thugs that come from Venezuela.
Why don't we shoot first and ask questions later about people that we suspect as being Trende Aragua? I don't know. Maybe because half of the people that you're locking up have no association with Trende Aragua whatsoever, and it would be absolutely psychotic to just gun random people that you suspect of being Venezuelan down in the streets. What the is this question? This guy, Douchey, it's Douchey, right? I think it is Douchey. It sounded a lot like him. I like that Douchey's question is basically, hey, why don't you start down random people that you suspect of being brown, okay? Why don't we just start writing down random brown people? Nice, dude. Thanks.
Well, they come from the prisons of Venezuela. They're very, very dangerous people, but they didn't look so dangerous when the guards took care of the situation from El Salvador. And I want to thank the president. He's a friend of mine. He's done a great job. But I just can't imagine that the Democrats are taking this issue where they want to have them back. You know, so now they have men playing in women's sports. They have transgender for everyone. They have open borders. They have all of their crazy policies that are, I think, 95-5, not 90-10, okay? And their new policy is, let's bring Trende Aragua back into our country. Let's bring the worst. These are the worst gang members there are. They looked amazingly frail, though. By the way they were handled, it's very amazing. You know, they weren't, when they were in Colorado cutting the fingers off a man because he made a phone call to the police, they seemed a lot tougher then than they did when they were having their heads shaved and they were in shackles. They're tough people, they're bad people. We don't want them in our country. We can't let a judge say that he wants them. You know, he didn't run for president. He didn't get much more than 80 million votes. And we just can't let that happen. It'd be so bad for our country. I won on the basis of getting criminals out of our country that were let in. It was called unforced error. They were let in by Biden, incompetently let in, and let in by the millions, actually. 21 million people. I believe it's 21 million. And that's not even including the gotaways, but these are rough people. We want them out of our country. And I won the election based at least partly on that, and that's a big part, yeah?
Mr. President, there's something. I don't know if you saw this. Tim Walz is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walz, I think I could kick most of their ass.
Oh, boy, he'd be in trouble.
Is there any way to know?
Well, he's a loser. You know, the guy's a loser. He lost an election. He played a part. You know, usually a vice president doesn't play a part, they say. I think Tim played a part. I think he was so...
Yeah, he did. The part he played was being back-pocketed into oblivion. If Tim Walz had been unleashed, I think the chances of the Kamala Walz ticket would be significantly better. Okay? Straight up. I will stand on that. You might not agree with everything that Tim Walz did on the campaign, and I think personally that there were a lot of mistakes, especially mistakes in terms of like not letting him communicate in the ways that he wanted to. Some of that we actually heard about, like the whole weird thing, right? They stopped him from doing that, which was stupid. But there's also other issues. I think if left to his own devices, he would have done a significantly better job talking about immigration, but he couldn't, step out of line with the top of the ticket on that front or with the Democratic Party. He couldn't, I don't know what his genuine perspective would have been in terms of the Israel stuff, but judging by his actions in Congress, when he was a member of Congress, like, he was anti-war. He was one of the select few openly anti-war Democrats, like one of the last bastion of like the anti-war Democrats out there. I don't think he loves Israel as much as people claim he does. He was just very clearly forced into that position. Maybe it's copium. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Walz was an Israel fanatic. First of all, if you judge Democrats off of, bruh, stop coping, I need everyone to understand something, okay? I am speculating here because I know more than you do about his f***ing track record. And the reason why I'm speculating in this direction is because you don't know his track record in Congress. You don't know that at all. I'm analyzing what he has done in terms of like when he had legislative power, okay? Yes, he absolutely did come across as the bog standard pro-Israel Dem when he was running for VP. He also basically went back on a lot of his own personal policies in Minnesota and his own policy prescriptions when he was a congressperson in the Democratic Party when he was running alongside Kamala Harris. I know. And you could easily say he should have demonstrated courage as the vice president. I agree. It probably would have even salvaged the reputation of the ticket if he actually did step out of line. If there was a little bit of controversy surrounding Tim Walz and Kamala Harris not actually on board with the same agenda or whatever. He didn't do that. He probably should have. That would have genuinely been helpful for the Democrats, whether they recognize it or not. But he wanted to be a team player. He wanted to be Biden was the strongest candidate we had. Yeah, we should have ran Uncle Brandon again. You're right. He is. He's the strongest. These guys are truly terrified of broaching the issue of Israel. Like the way I know that. Like I know no matter how progressive they are, unless you're like a Rashida Tlaib or an Ilhan Omar, okay, most Democrats shit in their diapers when the issue of Israel comes up. Okay, even progressive Democrats like Bernie Sanders and even progressive Democrats like AOC, you would think that the entire Democratic caucus has like, blackmail on them or something, the way that they operate. Okay, I know. I see it. I see it every day. It is absurd. It's not, there is no issue, I think, within the Democratic Party that is so directly at odds with the base's demands than Israel. Like the Democratic Party is overwhelmingly, at this point, the Democratic Party's base of support overwhelmingly says Israel's gone way too far, okay? Haters to the person that does not know what the fuck Israel even is, but just hears about it in the news and goes, I don't like all the baby murder I've seen that my children keep harassing me about, okay? And yet, in spite of all of that, in spite of the genuine momentum shift on this key issue, Democrats are terrified of stepping out of line. It doesn't make any sense. It's very stupid. You're libbing out a little? How is this libbing out? I'm saying that the Democratic Party across the board is directly at odds with its base, okay, on this issue, on many issues, but specifically with Israel. It's like such an obvious gimme. It's such an obvious, easy-ass point of contention that they could stress to expose the hypocrisy of the Trump administration in terms of claiming that they're fucking free speech, pro-free speech, but then simultaneously undermining that, claiming that they want law and order while routinely violating laws and creating disorder because you have hurt the feelings of Israel. Like, this is a foreign country. What are you talking about? There are so many ways that you could communicate to the broader public, reach across the aisle even, something that Democrats love doing. It is the easiest gimme of all time. And yet Democrats are asleep at the wheel or shitting in their diapers, basically. They just don't want to fight this fight at all. And it's very frustrating. Even purely on electoral strategy grounds, it makes no sense that they are so uncomfortable on this issue. They're so scared about just saying enough is enough.
Bad that he hurt her, but she hurt herself, and Joe hurt them both. They didn't have a great group, but I would probably put him at the bottom of the group.
Have you heard that Biden wants to get back involved for Democratic politicians, fundraising and campaigning against your policies?
I hope so.
Mr. President, there are several families. Mr. President, there are families from some of the people.
Who are you with?
I'm with La Nación newspaper from Argentina. There are families from some of the people that were on those flights to El Salvador that claim that they're not criminals, they're not members of Agua, of MS-13. What can you tell them, and what guarantees can you give them that everyone in those planes were actual criminals, terrorists, as you said?
Well, I was told that they went through a very strong vetting process.
Did they?
And that that will also be continuing in El Salvador. And if there's anything like that, we would certainly want to find out. But these were a bad group. This was a bad group, and they were in bad areas, and they were with a lot of other people that were absolutely killers, murderers, and people that were really bad with the worst records you've ever seen. And but we will continue that process, absolutely. We don't want to make that kind of a mistake.
Is the U.S. planning to give up the position of NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, and if so, why?
NATO is something that I saved. NATO was gone until I came along. In fact, the previous Secretary General, very good man, both of them are good. The current man is fantastic. But both of them have said, if it wasn't for Trump, you wouldn't even have a NATO, because we were paying the cost of almost all of the countries. And now they're paying. I said, we're not going to do this. We're not going to continue. You hurt us on trade. You do bad things on trade. And then on top of it, we're supposed to pay for your military. And because of what I did, hundreds of billions of dollars flowed into NATO by countries that just weren't paying. They were delinquent. They weren't paying their bills. So NATO is solid. They're strong. But they have to treat us fairly.
Are we going to give up the...
Because, look, without us, NATO is not the same thing. And I can tell you, I've been having very good discussions, as you know, with President Zelensky and with President Putin. And President Putin will tell you that without the United States, he wouldn't be worried. But he is worried when the United States is involved. And I have to tell you, I've dealt very well with both gentlemen, and we have, I think we have the confines of a deal. I hope we have the confines of a deal. I'm doing it for two reasons. Number one, and by far most importantly, thousands of young people, and they're not American people, they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, are being killed every week, thousands a week. And also the United States has paid, because of Biden, $350 billion on a war that should have never happened. If we had a competent president and is sitting right here, that war would have never happened. It would have absolutely never happened with me. And it didn't happen. For 4 years, it didn't happen.
Mr. President, do you think you have the authority, the power to round up people, to deport them, and then you're under no obligation to a court to show the evidence against them?
Well, that's what the law says, and that's what our country needs.
No, it doesn't.
Because we were, unfortunately, they allowed millions of people to come into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. So you ought to ask, did he have the authority to allow millions of people? Did Biden have the authority to do something that's unthinkable, have open borders where millions of people poured into our country, totally unvetted and totally unchecked, just as you would say? And many of those people were criminals. Many of them were from jails and prisons and mental institutions and gang members and drug dealers and very dangerous people. Many were murderers. We have 11,088 that we know of murders they murdered. Of that number, at least half killed more than one person. They're in our country. They're in a location near you. Biden...
Okay, dude. Just what is the purpose of having these sorts of press conferences if you know, you just get to say whatever you want to say? No one is gonna be able to course correct here. He's just straight up lying. Like the questions that came before this basically undermined this position that he's trying to keep repeating. Hey, why do you keep saying they're like all murderers when, you know, it's clear that a lot of these guys are not even criminals at all? They have no criminal records. Something that the Department of Homeland Security has also admitted in their briefings. Why do you keep saying that? And he's like, oh, they're vetted. They're vetted so well by the DHS. It's like, okay, but the DHS's own vetting process shows that there's very little evidence. And if there was need, if they had done the perfect vetting, then they'd have a strong case for deportation in the court system. If they had clear evidence, hard, tangible evidence on terrorism grounds, then you could take it to a judge and the judge would sign off on it. The entire point of this conversation is that you don't want to go to the judge because you know you don't have any evidence. And the DHS is openly stating that they don't have enough evidence to deport these people. And a lot of dummies will come into this chat and still say, well, coming here illegally is a crime. Yes, dumbass, I know. So is fucking jaywalking, okay? Shut up. You don't understand what you're saying. There are crimes that warrant deportation. Trump knows this. You don't. That's the reason why he lies about the severity of the crimes. Do you not understand that? The problem is these people did not come in here illegally. Many of these people actually came here legally. They came here because Trump invited them. First, Trump ruined their economy deliberately and then invited them here and gave them temporary protected status, proper documentation to work inside of U.S. borders. You are too stupid to understand any of this stuff. So you just go, coming here illegally is a crime. Y'all crazy? I'm getting death threats with this. Stop fucking crying, okay? Shut up. Shut up. You're imagining death threats that you're getting right now. Shut up. I hate this shit. Conservatives come in here and they're like, sorry, sucks to suck. People that actually have the proper documentation, that have had that documentation removed from them like that, who are getting deported to a fucking slave camp, deserve to be sent to a slave camp. Doesn't matter. No due process. Don't give a shit. And then you immediately go, oh, people are being mean to me. Shut up. God, I can't fucking stand the soy right, dude. Holy fuck. Bunch of pathetic cry-bullies. Oh my Lord, dude. Unfucking bearable. Constantly advocating for more death and more destruction, more harm to others that have less than them, and then immediately going, oh, you're being mean to me. You're being so mean. What did I do other than advocate for an insane process of just like randomly grabbing people off the fucking street that previously had the proper documentation and then shipping them off to an unaccountable, serial human rights violating slave labor colony? What happened to civility? I was just simply being a fucking Nazi. Why can't I just advocate for a little bit of fascism without even recognizing that that will inevitably hurt you? Huh?
Allow that to happen to our country. And it's people that really ran the country. And the person that operated the auto pen, I think we ought to find out who that was, because I guess that was the real president. So when you ask me if we have the authority, did Biden have the authority to allow millions of people to come into our country? Many of these people, hardened criminals at the top of the line who have caused tremendous damage in our country. You see them in New York City fighting with our police. I mean, literally having fist fights in the street with our police. These are tough, hard criminals. Many of them came out of jails, and not just South America, from all over the world. They came out from Africa, from the Congo. They came out from Asia. Not just South America, but many from South America. These are hard, tough criminals, and we have to get them out. And a judge sitting behind a bench someplace got a nice appointment. You can't take that away from the people that are responsible. Now, in this case, Marco Rubio has a lot of big decisions to make, and he's a fantastic person, a great man. I think he'll be our best. I think he has a chance to be our best Secretary of State. He's been doing incredibly. He works so hard. He's gone to so many different countries already. Still little. And he's got the authority to get bad people out of our country. And you can't stop that with a judge sitting behind a bench that has no idea what goes on, who happens to be a radical left lunatic.
You guys are denying this New York Times report that Elon Musk was going to be shown a 20 to 30 page presentation about a theoretical war plan against China. Why not?
Because I don't want to show it to anybody. You know, you're talking about a potential war with China. Now, fuck that. I deal with these people all the time, and I'm dealing with Pete. I'm dealing with these gentlemen on numerous different airplane purchases, and I think they're all going to be great. But I don't want other people seeing, anybody seeing potential war with China. We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we did, we're very well equipped to handle it. But I don't want to show that to anybody. But certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's paying a big price for helping us cut costs, and he's doing a great job. He's finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. But I certainly wouldn't want, Elon has businesses in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it was such a fake story. The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSDNC. And anybody read that story, people...
Yeah, it's a fake story. But also, Elon Musk would like to prosecute the leakers. That's what you do with fake stories. The New York Times is pure propaganda. Also, I look forward to the prosecutions of those at the Pentagon who are leaking maliciously false information in the New York Times. They will be found. It's simultaneously a fake story and also, why did you release this information? We are going to prosecute you. Yeah, I can't believe they're leaking false information. The fake news is at it again. This time, the failing New York Times, they said incorrectly that Elon Musk is going to the Pentagon tomorrow to be briefed on a potential war with China. How ridiculous. China will not even be mentioned or discussed. How disgraceful it is that the discredited media can make up such lies. Anyway, the story is completely untrue. I wish it was, though, honestly, because as I described yesterday, it's a win-win regardless. Because either A, Elon Musk is a secret Chinese asset, given his, factories in Shanghai, and will leak the war plans to China immediately. Or Elon Musk is not a Chinese asset, but simply an incompetent billionaire who will accidentally leak that information.
How do we think we will win a war with China? They have like a fifth of the planet. They can. Christ almighty. They want to go to war. What, are they going to put Elon in charge of like the U.S. Army and shit, the military, versus China? Dude, we're completely fucking fucked. No war with China. Thank you very much. No. Zero. Not behind that. Would never support that for half a second. Eat a fucking... Eat shit. Fucking crazies.
In an effort to like flex on Twitter for some of his dumbest followers, and will undermine those plans regardless. The moment that you got Elon Musk looking into it, I mean, we saw what he did with Doge, right? Like, can't wait for that level of competence to be a formative fixture at America's next chapter of Cold War against China.
Laughed at that story. Who would do such a thing?
Yeah, remember when Doge leaked a black site on U.S. soil? That was fun.
The first thing I did is I called Susie, and I
didn't know about that.
I said, is there any truth to that? And they said, it's ridiculous. No, he's over there to talk about costs. You might want to address that, Pete, but Elon was over there today to address costs. Doge, thing called Doge, which you've heard about. Pete?
That's exactly right, Mr. President.
It's so funny that, like, annoying autistic kids or adults that want clout online is probably one of the most consistent ways that the Pentagon ends up leaking classified information on Discord servers. And then you basically have the leading annoying, narcissistic, thin-skinned, autistic man who wants fucking clout online to be in a meeting like this. Like, you literally looked at the War Thunder forums, you looked at that other Discord leaker guy, and you said, let's get the current version of that into one of the most important meetings that we could have about our most significant foreign adversary. Hilarious. Awesome.
Pointed out it was a fake story. We pointed out it was meant to sort of undermine whatever relationship the Pentagon has with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a patriot. Elon Musk is an innovator. Elon Musk provides a lot of capabilities our government and our military rely on, and I'm grateful for that. We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about Doge, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake. There was no war plans. There was no Chinese war plans. There was no secret plans. That's not what we were doing at the Pentagon.
I might add that I think Elon, if they ever wanted to do that, I think Elon wouldn't do it. I think he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't want to put himself in that position.
God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's so good. Oh, dude. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, Elon cares about America. Oh my God, that's an amazing take. First of all, no billionaire cares about anything but putting another zero next to their net worth, okay? I mean, Trump, if you consider him to be a real billionaire, is a perfect example of this. That is amazing. That is amazing. Ay, ay, ay.
But if you read what's out of the New York Times, it's such a dishonest newspaper. It's such garbage. It's, it used to be called, well, it's all the news that's not fit to print. They have fake sources, or they don't have sources. I think they make most of it up. But this was a made-up story by the New York Times. I call it the failing. It's a failing newspaper. It's failing. And they shouldn't do that. They really are the enemy of the people.
And something else.
We do need honest journalism in this. We've made such big strides over the last 2 months, but we just need honest journalism, and we don't have it. When you have a CNN, you have to watch these people every once in a while just to see where they're coming from, and it's so dishonest. MSNBC is, I think, probably worse, and they're both doing horribly in the ratings. I think they're going to be turned off. I don't think they're not doing any ratings. You're doing well in the ratings.
Meeting their Chinese counterpart next week.
Yes.
Is there anything that they can do to stop April 2nd or to roll back the tariffs that you put on China?
Well, we can talk, but basically, I call April 2nd. I would have made it April 1st, but I didn't want to be April Fool's Day because then nobody would believe what I said, and they do believe me. April 2nd is going to be Liberation Day for America. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe. We've been ripped off on trade. We've been ripped off on military. We protect people, and they don't do anything for us. It's just so unfair for years and years. And now some of that money is going to be coming back to us in the form of tariffs. Tens of billions. It's going to be numbers like nobody's ever seen. So NVIDIA announced today, you saw that, hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. The biggest chip maker in the world announced hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. Hundreds of billions, not millions, but billions. They're all coming here. Apple just announced $500 billion worth. They're going to build plants here. They built their plants in China. They're going to build them here. And they're starting immediately. We have investment, the likes of which this country has never seen, already announced. And they all want to have news conferences. I don't have enough time to have that many news conferences, but I would say so far at least $4 trillion. $4 trillion is coming in.
Dude, lying is so undefeated. It is crazy. Has anyone ever thought about just simply lying? Like a lot. Just over and over again. And then having an entire media apparatus, both on the mainstream side with Fox News and on the independent media side with every podcast, just go along with it as though it is the case. And it's not like I can't be, maybe I care about this too much, like from the optics side or the narrative side, because I'm a commentator and that's basically all I do. But I am truly in awe of how successful simply fucking lying is. And even if it never happens, and many of the things that they say they're doing are not real, and many of the things that they say is coming is not coming at all, it just does not matter. Like, people just move on to the next lie. It is the Elon Musk method in many ways as well. Every time you do a new product announcement, just straight up lie. Stock prices won't actually get hurt by it, even if you never follow through on them. We're not in Mars. There's no Tesla Roadster. There's no battery swap initiatives. And, look how far Elon was able to get with that. He was able to basically snowball his falsehoods into no FSD, no brain chips, just lie over and over again. The only reason why Elon is falling out of favor now is because of his direct association with Donald Trump and the fact that he's the guy that they're using as a hatchet to gut the administrative state. If that wasn't the case, people probably still would think like, oh, he's the woke guy, right? Tesla, I don't know.
Car companies, very importantly, a lot of the car companies that we're going to build in Mexico or Canada are now building here, because I don't want cars from...
This chatter says, where is it? There was a chatter who said, what? Oh, you can take it now, yeah. Okay, they're back again. Come in. Oh my God. So there was a chatter who said, is there a tell? Because like when someone lies this much, I'm sure there's a tell. What is Trump's tell? There is no tell. You want to know why there is no tell? Because he lies with every statement. So if everything that you say is a lie, there's no reason for a tell. His tell is just he opens his mouth. Every single thing he says, every single thing he says is a lie. So there's no reason to try and figure out what a tell is for Donald Trump because his mouth is open. That's the tell.
Canada. I don't want cars from Mexico. They want to do it, it's fine, but I want the car companies to build here, not, they were building in Mexico 3 plants, big plants, really big plants, and they were going to sell the cars right across the border. We wouldn't have the jobs, we wouldn't have the profits, we wouldn't get the taxes, we get nothing. All we get is unemployment and empty factories. Those days are over. So now those 3...
Apologies to your American viewers for further killing any hopes of free healthcare. We flew 2 prototypes in December and it clearly terrified your military.
Places are going to build here, but many more than that. We have a big one. Honda is building, just announced a really big plant in Indiana. Great state, smart place to build. And we have many car companies coming here. The steel mills are going to be booming, And many other things, many other things come with that. But we need that for defense. There are certain things you have to have. You have to have steel. We would have had, if I didn't do in my first term tariffs to stop the onslaught, because they were dumping steel in order to destroy our steel plants. If I didn't do 50% and even 100% in certain cases tariffs on steel, you wouldn't have a steel plant in the United States. And Biden was unable to get rid of those tariffs because they threw off so much money that his numbers, which didn't work anyway, because the way he spent money was so horrible, and what he allowed to happen to energy. That's the other thing. Energy is going to be like it's never been before. Mr. Vice President is here. Do you have anything to say while you're here? He's a very good Vice President.
I'm just here to watch the show, sir. Okay. I think airplanes are pretty cool, so I wanted to check this out.
It is cool.
Mr. President, should take off the trade war at this point, though.
Well, I'll be speaking to President Xi. I have a great relationship with him. We're going to have a very good relationship. But we have a $1 trillion deficit because of Biden with President.
Asshole. What do you fuck do you think that tax cuts that you gave? Shit. Holy fuck. Fucking fuck off.
And she more than that. I mean, I've heard $1.2 trillion. We have a deficit. And I've explained that to President Xi. We also have a problem where he's allowing fentanyl to be sent into Mexico and then cross the border and, killing. I think the number is much higher than the 125, 115 that I think it's closer to 300,000 people a year. And so that's a problem. But they have a tremendous surplus against the United States, and we don't want that.
A number of industries have come to you asking for exemptions on tariffs. Is that something that is under consideration by you?
Well, people are coming to me and talking about tariffs, and a lot of people are asking me if they could have exceptions. And once you do that for one, you have to do that for all. So, I mean, generally, I did something interestingly during 2 weeks ago. I gave the American car companies a break because it would have been unfair if I didn't. And everybody said, oh, he changed his mind on tariffs. I didn't change my mind. I helped our, sort of big 3, big 4. I helped some of the American companies. And instead of taking it properly, they said, oh, he changed it. I don't change, but the word flexibility is an important word. Sometimes there's flexibility, so there'll be flexibility, but basic.
Art of the deal. I changed my mind. I didn't change it at all. There's many tariffs coming, but also some of the tariffs are gone. There's no more tariffs. We've destroyed the tariffs. Tariffs are the greatest word in the English language. I love the word tariff. I'm doing tariffs. Tariffs have gotten 10% higher. Tariffs have gotten 10% lower. This is how it is.
It's reciprocal, so that if China's charging us 50% or 30% or 20%, and I don't mean China, I mean anybody, any country, Canada. Nobody knows that Canada's charging our dairy farmers. They have 270% tariffs. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. They have up to 400%. They have a couple of tariffs at 400%. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. And remember, with Canada, we don't need their cars. We don't need their rubber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything from Canada. And yet it costs us $200 billion a year subsidy to keep Canada afloat. So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that. Because we can't be expected to carry a country that is right next to us on our border. It would be a great state. It would be a cherished state. The taxes for Canadian citizens would go down in less than half. They don't spend money on military because they think we're going to protect them. There are many things that they do, like icebreakers. They want us to provide icebreakers.
We do have military bases all over the planet.
So the Canada, they're very tough traders too. I want to just tell you, of all the people, they're tough traders. They
Can you shut those down?
And you know, the expression I use is, some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right? Somebody was negotiating.
Yeah, he loved
who didn't have the cards, who's now, I think, saying that he wants to do it, and I think we're going to have a big deal on that very special something. We got to make a deal on that. But Canada has been a very nasty negotiator against the United States, took advantage of the United States for a long time. But nobody knows that they were getting 270% tariffs on dairy products.
And I don't think I've heard you say this in all of the talk about Canada becoming the 51st state. Are you concerned that if they became the 51st state, they would be a very, very blue state? Very, very big and very, very blue.
No, there might be, but it would, you know, you have that artificial line, that straight artificial, that looked like it was drawn by
he's just got a ruler. He's got the fucking
I don't mean a ruler like a king, I mean like a ruler like a ruler.
Right-wing fucking
this way.
nut bags.
And it's just an artificial line that was drawn in the sand or in the ice. And you know, and can I tell you, Peter, just you add that to this country, what a beautiful landmass, the most beautiful landmass anywhere in the world. And it was just cut off for whatever reason. It would be great. Now, is it liberal? Maybe. But, you know, a conservative, until I got involved, because I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with the liberal than the conservative, if you want to know the truth. But just a little while ago, before I got involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about, probably it's to our advantage, actually.
Because you never
the
mentioned
conservative was leading against, I call him Governor Trudeau. The conservative was leading by 35 points. So, you know, so I don't know about that. Canada's a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
And the two astronauts that you just helped save from space, they didn't get any overtime pay for all that extra time. They got $5 a day per diem. For 286 days, that is $1,430 in extra pay. Is there anything the administration can do to get them, to make them whole?
Well, nobody's ever mentioned this to me. If I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket, okay? I'll get it for them. I'll take care of that. I like that. I think that's... I'll pay it right out of my... Is that all? That's not a lot for what they had to go through. And I want to thank Elon Musk, by the way, because think if we don't have him. You know, there's only so long, even though they're in the capsule up there, that the body starts to deteriorate after 9 or 10 months. And gets really bad after 14, 15 months with the bones and the blood and all of the things that you've been reporting on very well. And if we don't have Elon, they could be up there a long time. Who else is...
Yeah, they would have perished. They would have just deteriorated.
...going to get him. And I just want to thank him. He's going through a lot. What they're doing to him And these people are going to be caught, and they're going to be caught, and they're going to be prosecuted. And from what they tell me, I see this just by watching your programs and reading the news, but from what they tell me, they can get 20 years in jail, and they'll get it. I'll tell you, there's going to be no leniency, and there'll be no pardons. I can tell you that right now.
And you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they'll go to one of these prisons in El Salvador. Do you think with the way that the judges have been issuing injunctions, it would be easier or harder to send these Tesla domestic terrorists to a jail in El Salvador?
Guys, they want to send American citizens to a slave labor camp in El Salvador for vandalism. I can't explain to you how insane this is.
The most psychotic thing on the planet.
If you can't recognize how psychotic this statement is, like the very fact that we are entertaining it, based, dude, an administration that will remove due process and decide that you are a terrorist for vandalism will inevitably lock your stupid ass up too. I don't know how you don't recognize this. I was joking. Okay. No jokes. I thought we had another Asmon. I thought we had another Asmon Gold in the chat. Another Asmon Gold follower in the chat going, yeah, based. You should have realized it's a joke, Lemafau. Do you know how many people I encounter on a daily basis that unironically says, yeah based? Oftentimes they're also oftentimes they're also saying, like, you know, we should gun Hassan down in the streets, but you're sounding like Hitler. Straight up saying the Nazism out loud. Are you talking about Donald Trump? Because yes. Wait, you're sounding like Hitler, no joking aloud. That's what sounds like Hitler, not Trump saying we don't care about due process. If we consider you a terrorist, American citizen or not, we're going to deport you to a concentration labor camp. I feel like out of these two things, like there's one guy who definitely sounds a lot more like Hitler
than these MS-13 or Tren de Aragua guys.
Well, I view these people as terrorists just like others. These are, when I looked at those showrooms burning and those cars, not one or two, like 7, 8, 10 burning, exploding all over the place. These are terrorists. You didn't have that, I can tell you. You didn't have anything like that on January 6th, which is sort of amazing because on January 6th,
who brought up January 6th?
Nobody was killed other than a
who mentioned that? You brought that, you psycho.
Ashley Babbitt. Nobody was killed. And you look at what's going on now.
Nobody was killed. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Bro, still talking about January 6th. That's one of my favorite Trump lines. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. He did it again. January 6th. Nobody was killed. Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Hell with these terrorists. These are terrorists, and that's an organized event. You know, take a look at their signs. Take a look.
Yeah. January 6th, not an act of terror. Very cool, very fun. Nobody was killed. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Drop penis on a Tesla. I can't even say it. Biggest act of terror so far anyone's ever seen. What is this? So you don't sympathize with people like Lake and Riley? What? Sympathize with people like Lake and Riley? What are you saying, my man? Alan Dulles was also involved in Operation Sunrise in World War II, where he might have tried to make a separate deal with the Nazis. Okay, I don't know what this guy is on about. I'm so confused. Like, you can't know about Alan Dulles and then turn around and also be pro Trump's immigration agenda.
They're all made by the same sign company. A nice, expensive job. Now, these are the people that finance it are, in my opinion, in just as big a trouble as the people that are setting the match and setting the fires. So we'll see. It's under very serious investigation by the FBI and by the Justice Department. These people are terrorists. Okay. Yeah, go ahead behind you, please.
Mr. President, what do you say to American military families who are seeing Elon Musk at the Pentagon today, are hearing about Defense Department cuts, and their thoughts are immediately going to the safety of their loved ones who are currently employed?
Well, we're making our country strong. And when they see a thing like that and they hear that story about Elon and...
Like, I'm not even Mr. like January 6ers were terrorists, all right? But under Trump's definition, if you think like farting on a Tesla is an act of terror, then what is January 6th then? Like, this is what is so, because like, if you consider farting on a Tesla to be an act of terror, okay, then I'm sorry, January 6th is basically 11 9/11s worth of terrorism, okay? If the standard for terrorism now is like drawing a dick on a Tesla or putting a bag of dog poop on a Tesla, vandalizing a Tesla, then January 6th is like 1 million 9/11s. 9/11 itself is 10 million 9/11s. We have raised the standard. That's crazy.
China, what they should do is realize that the New York Times is a corrupt institution, because I think they're the ones. They knew that story wasn't true. Nobody believed that story. People that, when I first called,
nobody believed
they laughed when they heard the story. Nobody believed it. That the Pentagon was giving him a briefing on what war with China would look like, and he has business. No, they made that up because it's a good story to make up. They're very dishonest people. Look, I have it with the Times, and you'll see more and more of it. To me, it's a very, very dishonest organization. But a story like that is made up as total fiction.
It's kind of like,
and I just wanted to make sure. I called up Chief of Staff and I called up Pete, and I said, "Is it absolutely not? He's there for Doge, not there for China. And if you ever mention China, I think he'd walk out of the room. He wouldn't take it anyway. So it's just a made-up story." Nobody's taken better care of the military. One of the things that I know the Pete story is he's talking about a lot of the civilian staff, and we're going to get them other jobs. You know, we're going to have a lot of jobs in this country, but we don't want to have wasteful jobs. We want to have meaningful jobs. And those were wasteful jobs. Those are jobs that not only military, but jobs where people don't show up. You take a look at Department of Education. I've never seen so many buildings with the names on it. You go past one after another Department of Education, and they're empty. The people don't show up. You know why? Because they have other jobs. Because they're playing golf, or they're playing something. They're doing something.
Bro, you can't say shit about people playing golf, bro.
We have to move
What
that
was
back to the
that?
States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to get people much better jobs. Because we have companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this is...
Say that bullshit again, bro. I feel like Samuel L. Jackson. Like this blank ABC whatever. Like, let's get the exact words. The exact words.
One after another Department of Education, and they're empty. The people don't show up. You know why? Because they have other jobs. Because they're playing golf, or they're playing something. They're doing something. And we have a lot of great people, but we have to move that back to the States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to get people much better jobs, because we have companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this.
The likes of which we've never seen. Or which you've, or is it we? I've never get this quote.
One after another Department of Education, and they're empty. The people don't show up. And we have a lot of great people, but we have to move that back to the States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to get people much better jobs, because we have companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this has happened.
Likes of which we've never seen. Today I took a dump of the likes of which we've never seen.
Nice. We're pulling ahead.
Holy shit! Of the like, that's the craziest thing. Of the likes we've never seen. What he is saying. Of the likes we've never seen. Everything. This PP 919, the Bison, essentially. It's a Bison of the likes of which we've never seen. FYI.
And it's automatic. They don't want to pay the tariffs. How do you
and this is automatic too. Look at this.
Paying the tariffs. You build your plant in the United States, and
see,
it's a beautiful thing to see. I see it. So far, I'd say $4 trillion. Nobody's ever heard of them. No country's ever heard of numbers like that. $4 trillion. Those are the best ones. The biggest, best chip maker in the world. I'm not a fan of the CHIP Act, where you give billions of dollars away to companies that don't need it, and it won't bring them here. I'm giving nothing away. All they're doing is coming here. They're building because they want to avoid. Remember this on the tariffs, too, because that's going to be, Liberation Day, April 2nd. It's reciprocal. If they charge us, we charge them. So somebody say, well, how much are the tariffs? Very fair. If India, as an example, has been very bad to us on tariffs. They charge 100%, 200%, whatever they charge.
Damn, talking shit about India after having a fantastic Modi glaze sesh is really messed up, in my opinion. Like, he's such a phony friend, dude. He talks behind your back.
Now, Europe just announced they're lowering the tariffs on cars. We charge like a joke, 2.5%. That's what this country charges. Europe just announced that they're reducing their tariffs on cars to 2.5%. It's nice. But they also have non-monetary tariffs where they make it impossible for the cars to get in even without the dollars on them and the dollar signs. It's called the non-monetary tariff, where they put on controls where no matter what happens, because they don't want cars, they don't want the American car in their market. And yet they send us millions of cars. They send us big agriculture. They don't want our agriculture. They don't want anything from us. European Union's very tough. But now it's fair. So whatever they do to us, we do to them.
Russia continues to attack Ukraine. Are you planning to impose any sort of sanctions?
Well, they're fighting against each other. Yeah, I think we're going to have... We have a ceasefire on a lot of areas, and so far that's all held very well. And getting that ceasefire, they had a lot of guns pointing at each other. You had some soldiers, unfortunately, surrounded by other soldiers. And they are going to be, I believe we're going to have, pretty soon have a full ceasefire, and then we're going to have a contract. And the contract's being negotiated, the contract in terms of dividing up the lands, et cetera, it's being negotiated as we speak.
What do you say to critics who say that your actions towards law firms amount to coercion?
Well, the law firms all want to make deals. You mean the law went after me for 4 years ruthlessly, violently, illegally? You mean, are those the law firms you're talking about? They're not babies. They're very sophisticated people. Those law firms did bad things. They went after me for years. Russia hoax. All a hoax. It was a hoax. It was Hunter Biden's laptop. It didn't come out of Russia, by the way. It was came out of his bedroom. It was all a hoax, developed by Democrats. Hillary, I don't think Biden did, because I don't think Biden knows what the hell he's doing, frankly, based on everything I see. I've seen things since being here that are so sad, what he's done to this country.
I've seen things.
What he and they did to this country, those people that surrounded him, who, by the way, are radical left but smart. He's not smart. He was never smart. But these are radical left, smart people. They totally controlled him. He did whatever they told him to do. And it's a shame. It's so sad to see what happened, what they've done to this country, both not only the inflation you saw, but allowing millions and millions of criminals into our country. That's an inexcusable act. And many other things besides that. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
David, send you a hand. Thank you.
Am I the only one who gets offended when Robert De Niro Irish characters?
Good reason as in, like, there's a good reason why people are saying I don't trust you any longer, like Israel related coverage, for example. And also, for a very bad reason. A very bad reason why people don't trust legacy media is because of the faucet of misinformation So you're not like, oh, well, this person one child, they're not a, but once you 3 children, good reason as in like, there's a good reason why people are saying, I don't trust you any longer, like Israel related coverage, for example. And also for a very bad reason why people don't trust legacy media is because of the faucet of misinformation.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I have to say, I have such fucking news politics fatigue already. We're what, 2 months into the sort of president, the velocity of bullshit.
Stupidity.
If you can get 1 million plays in a day because Trump got bopped on the nose by a fucking boom mic, it just, the appetite is, it seems endless for it. It just feels, it's exhausting. I'm kind of...
What's this Brit fuck? Why the fuck are we listening to this asshole about American politics? No offense to the GOAT, Kavanaugh. He's not a Brit, though. Hirsch laddie. Love that for him. I'll shut up now. Bye-bye.
Having to check out. And I know that people say, oh, well, it's a luxurious position. You don't need to pay attention to politics. It's a luxurious position for you to be in. People at the bottom, they do need to pay attention to politics. It's an interesting stat because actually the most educated, wealthiest people are the ones that spend the most time consuming news and talking about politics. It's the people at the bottom rung of the ladder that don't. So that's...
Yeah, no shit. That's kind of the fucking problem here. That's why we got Donald Trump in office. Yes, if you're at the bottom rung of society, you understandably see politics for what it truly is. Something that rich people are doing with one another that is not going to impact your life in any way and only will impact your life in a negative way. Doesn't matter if you pay attention to it or not. That's why I'm so glad I had those 2 conversations with 2 different Uber drivers yesterday, okay? One was activated through podcast into believing a whole bunch of nonsense. The other one was completely tapped out of the subject after voting for Kamala Harris and not really liking the Democrats either. The reason why the second person was not really invested in politics is exactly what I'm talking about. If you can't activate people like her, I mean, think about it. Like, she's a black woman in the United States of America who's genuinely thinking about leaving the country, okay? Cost of living is out of control, and she sees the political instability, and she's like, maybe it's time to leave. Like, we're literally seeing if we can penny pinch our way out of here. This is a person that drives Uber. In any case, the reason why...
Yeah, I'm worried about money, too. Like, I have a job, but who knows these days, right? Like and subscribe. I've never said that before once, ever in a live stream. I'm gonna try this. Good luck, asshole.
That person, I think I demonstrated fairly well to those who have the capacity to understand what I was doing in that conversation. The reason why that person is checked out is because there's no association for her with any sort of tangible policies that will improve her life. She does not hear that from the Dems at all. She also doesn't think the Dems are being genuine when they advocate for things. She literally said, yeah, Trump does stuff, but when he says something, he's going to do something. That's weakness twofold. That's it.
It's not true. I'm exhausted. I'm so...
You're allowed to be exhausted. It's ridiculous. Newsweek wrote an article about how one of the names of one of our friend of mine, Michael Costa, his name was misspelled accidentally
on the feed.
On the feed. So Newsweek.
Is that you, Jamie?
It wasn't even misspelled. I don't know. It was miscapitalized. That's the second letter had a capitalization too. And I don't know.
The defense rests its case here.
It wasn't even misspelled, right? It was M-I, Michael Costa. Like me, Kyle Costa or something.
Okay.
There's a headline. It's an article in Newsweek.
You ever think that your career would result in you having typos for a headline, Jamie?
I can't. I don't even know which ones we've missed. I'm sure there's been other ones. That's just the first one.
So you're not like, oh, well, this person one child, they're not a, but once you 3 children, you're definitely a pedophile. What are you talking about? No, pedophilia is pedophilia. There's a difference between predatory behavior and being a douchebag. If he didn't harm these people, and the number one harm he caused was like hurt feelings. Here's the Harry Sazan drama, which is so weird because like, as far as I understand, like he was just a scumbag, but not like, he wasn't like, what do you call it? He wasn't like doing something that was like abusive or whatever. He was just being a bit of a, what they would call a playboy. Unless there's more that I didn't understand from the story. And as you guys know, I'm not a big fan of Harry Sazan by any means, right? But it is pretty funny that like the Republicans are losing their minds over it. Like this is a Republican state delegate being like, Harry Sazan invoked a lot of trauma against like a lot of people by lying to them and making them think that they were singularly dating him or something. And then I looked at the replies, and all the Republican men are just like, the fuck are you talking about? Wait, Harry Sazan is not gay? That was, damn, I kind of like him now. That's what they were saying. But yeah, I know exactly what post you were going to say. Yeah, this is the funniest thing that came out of the drama. Yeah, this reminds me, Harry was talking about you here. God, that ass is fat. He was. I sent him an ass pic. I'm one of the wronged parties here. Yeah,
No one's ever sent me any kind of pic.
TikTok influencer Zoomer was talking to multiple women and like getting nudes from multiple women, who then basically figured out a 23-year-old white guy's flirting with multiple women on Snapchat. Welcome back 2016. Yeah. Basically, here, I'll just read it. Harry Sazan convinced 11 different women that he had no roster and respected them for more than their bodies, while persuading them to send explicit photos of themselves through Snapchat, including one from a domestic abuse survivor. When the woman discovered each other one by one, he called them all insane and attempted to coerce one of them into telling the public that the photos were fake. A request to the reader: set political differences to the side. I believe both sides of the aisle can agree this is unacceptable behavior from a man-child with collectively over 2 million followers. Thread here. And then like, several of the women involved have made their stances public, but the videos are not receiving much traction, while Harry Sazan continues to collect millions of views for his videos, claiming that he's a supporter of women and a champion of women's rights. Yeah, I think the only part about this is, did he leak the photos? No, not as far as I understand. He did not leak the photos. We don't know if he like ever even showed the photos to another person. This is entirely just like people being upset that he, as a 20-year-old TikToker, was talking to multiple women at the same time. I feel like this is another like West Elm Caleb style situation where everybody got like really mad at West Elm Caleb for ghosting a woman or something, right? What was the West Elm Caleb story? And then people were like doxing him and shit. But overall, it doesn't seem like it was, stop sending me this thing. God damn it, I can't escape this. Yeah, overall, it just seems like he was horny, and that's it. Like he's been charged with being horny and also saying that he wasn't talking to multiple women instead of I guess saying that he was talking to multiple women. And but I don't know. Has he even said anything about that? Has he even said read the Snapchat message on the top tweet? IQ raw after wine tasting. Damn, you're sexy. Push, stop, don't. I'd be raw after wine testing, but that's just me. Yo, they don't want to have white boys with swag no more. Bro, his Riz game is NPR, dude. How is that possible? What is happening here? He hit the NPR. Amazing. IQ raw after wine tasting, but that's just me. I got to get Harry Sazan on Chad Vice, I think. He's going to teach me a thing or two. You feel me? So, yeah, as long as there's no like actual, as long as there's no like real harm, and this is probably going to piss off a lot of Zoomers in my audience because like, I know I'm a boomer and everything is trauma and I complain about that. But like, yeah, this is just like, you know, there's a difference between someone being an asshole, right? And a dick, which would be to like, talk to multiple women at the same time, especially if you're making it seem as though, especially if you're telling them that they're the only person you're talking to, then yeah, you're an asshole, okay? I'm a millennial, but this is predatory behavior. See, this is what I mean. No, it's not, okay? I'm sorry. Unless there's something that I'm not aware of that happened here that I just simply have not seen, okay? No, it's not predatory behavior. You can be an asshole and not a predator. What is wrong with you, man? Not every instance of lying is gaslighting. Not every instance of someone being a douchebag is being a predator. There's words used to mean things. Why is there a term for predatory behavior versus being an asshole? Like, what are we talking about? If it was 2, 3 girls, but 11, come on. No, it doesn't matter how many girls he's talking to. What do you mean? Is there like a number of girls after a certain point? You're like, okay, now it's predator status. What are you talking about? You don't say that. You're not like, you don't make that distinction in reverse. You're not like, oh, well, this person's 1 child. They're not a pedophile. But once you have 3 children, you're definitely a pedophile. What are you talking about? No, pedophilia is pedophilia. There's a difference between predatory behavior and being a douchebag. If he didn't harm these people, and the number 1 harm he caused was like hurt feelings because everybody thought that they were talking to him exclusively, which I don't even know if he like told them that he was exclusive with them or whatever. It's ridiculous. Like, what are we doing? I feel like this is a byproduct of just like everything being online too. It's a byproduct of academic language and pop psychology making its way into like normal colloquialisms. And it's also a secondary byproduct of like people just never being out in the wild. The same goes for women that talk to multiple men at the same time, okay? Incels constantly chirp about that too. They're like, oh, she's talking to multiple guys. Like, who cares, dude? What do you mean? Who cares? What's wrong with you? Like, I don't get it. Okay, don't talk to them then. Like, what do you, okay, you learned your lesson. This is a person that is not supposed to be with you. If they have not communicated with you that they're, that they're not interested in exclusivity, you know?
Don't read on live. Yeah, I saw about this. Like, actually, lunatics. Like, genuinely, they are, this individual in question is insane. Wait, who is that? And so, I'll send, I can share with Chris. I'll send a screenshot. Yeah.
You didn't even say all these women are lunatics. One individual in question is a lunatic, but I don't know who the individual is.
Figure out how I want to word a video regarding this, but I think what I'm going to just say is I've never been the woman that has called out behavior like this. I've never been one of these people. And if you have been, props to you. Because I don't think...
So let me get this straight. They were all of age. They were talking over Snapchat. They sent their photos on their own. Now he's getting canceled because he's hoeing around, and they're framing it as he convinced. Yeah. Hasanabi is wrong on this one. Yes, I'm wrong on a lot, but it is what it is. Some of these women are straight up just saying they loved their time talking to Harry for like 9 months. It was absolutely not predatory on anybody's part. Yeah, I don't...
Anybody could comprehend how genuinely terrifying it is to do something like this. Yeah.
I just don't know the details. Okay, but I haven't seen any details that like seemingly are moving away from like this dude was just being a hoe versus this dude was like like a manipulative, abusive person. Carly, one of Harry's victims, has described like these are people who okay. I'm sorry. You have Republican state delegate and precinct chair on your fucking like bio on Twitter. It's a little hard for me to believe that you think these women are victims, especially because as a Republican, you don't think women are ever victims. You voted for a rapist. What the fuck do you mean? Like, clearly there's a very different standard for voting for president versus some random fucking TikTok Zoomer that you hate, okay? What the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean? What are we doing here? I hate this shit. It's the same thing that fucking Tim Pool does all the goddamn time. It's the same thing that even other liberal but still very reactionary people do all the time. They have no established like morality. It's so malleable. They'll just be like, well, the left does it to us, so we're doing it to them. It's like, no, you're just the same fucking asshole then. God damn. Maybe you hadn't considered that some people on the left do actually care about those things, okay? But you clearly don't. You're a fucking right-winger. Like, what are we doing here? What the fuck's going on? What do you mean? I mean, let's be real. This kid got propelled to the front of the Democratic Party during one of the most violate elections of our life. If you think he wasn't using that cloud to get cheeks at 21, you either never chased Taylor or you're an idiot. Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's the other aspect of this too. Is like I don't know, maybe my standard for abusive behavior is beyond just someone being like, I want to fuck you raw after a wine tasting, you know, which is like reciprocated in the conversations that they're posting as they talk about how abusive he is. Ain't no fucking way. MAGA influencer Sarah Fields, aka Sarah is Censored, who's currently maliciously and illegally posting false allegations against Harry Sisson, is allegedly a child abuser. I'm done, dude. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm so done. I'm so fucking done. I just like, I don't. It's every, why is it every time? Does it have to be every time? Can it not be like maybe 10% of the time the person is not like convicted of child rape or child abuse or some sort of like abandonment issues? Can it be that like maybe 10% of the time the Republican person who ran for office is not the worst person you have ever fucking encountered in your life? I swear to God, it literally feels like your ideological convictions do not matter for the Republicans. It's like, have you done a rape? Is it against a child? If so, yes, please join the party. What the fuck? This person also did child abandonment, okay? That's it. That's abandonment, endangering a child with intent to return. Trump talks about fucking rapist immigrants and then has Conor McGregor in the White House. They bring the fucking Tate brothers into America. What do you mean? You don't have the best track record. She knows about you too. What is this? Oh God, this was the lamest edit of all time. Palestine. I hated this edit. It was so whack. Oh my God.
I wanted to address the fact. Do a little bit, but Call of Duty. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel like it's like that's not cool. And I've gotten some copyright. I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't make money from this. I don't do this for money. I do this because I'm trying to like reach out to people. The social media aspect, the social part of the social media. I'm trying to be social because I only have very few people who are into Call of Duty or left-wing politics. So I'm trying to find those people. If I had someone talking to me in chat, I would definitely talking more. Try to comment. But for the most part, this is what I like to do. I mean, I would be doing this if I wasn't streaming. I'd be watching YouTube videos, playing Call of Duty, but this kind of gives me an excuse to voice any opinions that I have. It also gives me an opportunity. Cool. But that part is fruitless so far. I feel like if I get one real person, I've got one fake person. I feel there's a person named Matt C who comments on my videos, but never responds to anything I say in particular. And I'm at this point fully convinced that this person is an artificial intelligence robot that someone has set up to just comment on everyone's videos, even ones like mine, with the hopes of, you know what, I should next time they comment, I'm gonna look at their channel. And actually, why, I don't know. I could actually, you know, I'll just go back, look at one of the comments on one of my, take a look to see if there's any sign of life. But I don't feel too bad about watching Hassan videos, kind of without commentary, but just playing games. because I don't really have I don't have too much fear of like him striking this. I mean, my theory is that like if someone, like I'm playing games over it, full volume, stopping it, not much, but with the gameplay over it with the volume, like it's kind of like if someone really wanted to watch the videos I'm watching, like they would just go to that video, because trying to watch it with this Call of Duty gameplay over it, I would believe for someone who's actually watching this with no interest in Call of Duty would want to watch this beside, like, you know, why wouldn't they just go watch, if the Call of Duty sound and gameplay is distracting, why won't they just go watch the other video? So I don't know. This is the most talking I've ever done. It's not true. Okay, let's get back into it.
She has child advocate in her bio. Wait, hold on. Oh my gosh, she's a parent/child advocate? Bro, stop. I agree it's not that serious, but why you and other men defending him gotta baby him so much? He looked and sounded ridiculous in those messages. I'm not even defending him. I don't give a shit about Harry Sisson. He's a fucking DNC operative who's yelled about me quite a bit. I personally am defending the principle of not calling someone, unless they've like done something abusive, not calling something fucking abusive. It's very frustrating, and it does have secondary consequences. Not to sound too much like a fucking reactionary old man, but the consequences are other normal people that are not as ideologically invested hear you go off on that shit and go, what the fuck are you saying? What do you mean? Even Republicans were like, well, what are we talking about here? What happened? Gaslighting women is abusive. I know. Yes, you're right. Gaslighting women is abusive. When the fuck did this turn into? This is what you just did the thing that I was joking about. I hope you know that. Are you aware? Like, are you doing this as a joke, or are you just like honestly saying this? There's a difference between someone being a fucking douchebag and someone being abusive. There's a difference between someone lying versus someone gaslighting, okay? And the distinction is important to recognize. No, I don't think gaslighting is just lying. No, gaslighting is not just lying either, okay? No, there's a separate term for it for a deliberate reason. Gaslighting is when you aren't just lying. You're lying about it so aggressively that your goal...
I define gaslighting as someone who's trying to convince you that something's wrong with you or that you're crazy. That's gaslighting. Someone's like, wait, you think this? Like, that's not, whoa. That's not. That's gaslighting, not what. Lying is an aspect of gaslighting, but it's about trying to make people question themselves. That's what gaslighting is. That's my opinion. That's what I think. I think that's correct, though. Hit me up in the comments, all 0 of you, if you agree.
Goal is to,
you know, people usually, people always say they don't care when they don't. It's fine, whatever, dude. Just having fun tonight. Seriously. Wherever you are.
To basically make the other person refuse to reckon with reality beyond, like, it's extra lying. It's something more than just lying. I don't know how else to describe it, but you do it in a way where you make the other person feel like they're insane.
He said extra lying.
What is it? Carly had recently been through a traumatic car accident, was dealing with depression at the time. Carly stated Harry pounced and took advantage of her sadness. What? Carly decided to go live on TikTok, share her story, and this is when she discovered that during the 9 months that she was talking to Harry, Harry was leading multiple women on. What the fuck? What? She was in a car accident. According to Carly, Harry wooed her from the very beginning, convinced her that he respected her far more than her physical appearance. She said, even though she's embarrassed to admit it, she created a private chat, the chat with Harry, that was meant for his eyes only, where she shared explicit photos of herself with him. He loved it. He loved that I was not entertaining anyone else. in the way that I was entertaining him. Harry told her that she was wifey material and was sold on her wife applications.
Get it done.
So he never even said like he was exclusively in a relationship with this person. After 6 months of this behavior, he told her he didn't want a commitment. She accused him of leading her on, to which he admitted to doing, but also said he should have made his intentions clear. He said non-exclusive specifically. Yeah, when you got Sean defending Harry Sasson, that's all you need to know, okay? At least on this issue, not any other issue. Make no mistake, I'm not defending Harry Sasson's political opinions or actions, but like this seems to me like a Al Franken situation on steroids almost, where it's like, oh, let's just fucking go after this guy because his audience is woke and use terminology that they will respond positively to, and some people do eat that bait hook, line, and sinker. He a cheater, but he wasn't even cheating here. This is not even a fucking. What do you mean he's a cheater? So the thing that sucks here is that he led her on, which I agree is fucked up. Okay, but it's not cheating either. What the fuck? There's no relationship. Directly after this, Harry posted a video of a thirst trap of him and his new girlfriend on TikTok. The video shows him lying in bed with a girl. She provocatively swipes her hand across his face. Prior to the thirst trap, Carly watched Harry go live and observe hickeys on his neck from a different girl. She confronted Harry and he told her she was overreacting. Carly had recently been through a traumatic car accident. I don't understand what the traumatic car accident has to do anything with anything, but he told them the exact same things that he convinced them to send him explicit messages through the Snapchat platform. Harry had told the other woman that he had no roster. Receipts of Harry Snapchats. What the fuck? Oh, even if he was cheating, yes, that does not mean he's a predator. There's a difference between cheating and being a fucking predator. Holy shit. But it doesn't even seem like he was cheating anyway. Like, he was leading her on. Well, like, certainly, what desire you? Bro, what is this Riz? I never lied to you. We were not exclusive, and I made it abundantly clear I didn't want that, and you said that was fine. I haven't done anything that wasn't allowed within the parameters we set. What and why are you screenshotting? Wait, what do you mean? These receipts don't show him in a negative light. Why is this person who apparently was convicted of a real crime of child abuse posting this shit to be like, see, we have to cancel this man? One in particular states, I'd fuck you raw after the wine tasting. That's pretty funny. You're hot. Feels pretty great. I can't lie. The verdict is you look sexy as fuck. Court adjourned. It's fucked up. Dude, first of all, I want to say no one looks good when their sexting material is revealed. No one is cool when they're sexting. I've yet to encounter a singular instance where someone is sexting and they look fucking sick. Okay? But this, like, if you were to tell me, Hassan, write a joke where Harry Sasson is rizzing another TikToker, how would he rizz them? This is what I would arrive at. Like, this NPR style, you the viewers are the sponsors of this broadcast ass fucking message, dude. The verdict is you look sexy as fuck. Court adjourned. Ah! It's so good. Mine is, yeah, okay. Okay, Nick. Yeah. Here are other receipts of Snapchat provided by other accounts. It's unclear who these Snapchats were sent to. This person thought she was doing investigative reporting. Lemao, see, your opinion is the only one that mattered. God, that ass is fat. Looks amazing. Couldn't agree more, beautiful. What the fuck? Quote from Carly, I'm fighting for accountability, not only for myself, but on behalf of everyone who believed this guy was someone he's not. To this day, he has yet to acknowledge that he did anything wrong, and that's really sad. However, I have to say I am beyond blessed and frankly shocked to have connected with so many amazing people over this horrible experience. What's the attitude that people have on TikTok over this? Are they canceling him? I bet they're fucking canceling him. Zoomers are so crazy. This is like, I bet Zoomers are going nuts over this. They're like, yeah, Harry Sasson, your days are numbered. Liberal TikToker Harry Sasson currently being exposed by 11 women for playing them at the same time. They call me Mao the way I be laying Zedong. Another victim of Harry, Sarah, provided a long, detailed video of her experience. I clipped it for the sake of time, but you can find her full video on the TikTok platform. Sarah's a domestic violence survivor. She has posted about a domestic violence experience on October 24 and 4. Receipts are of her and her ex. Following this experience, she was convinced by Harry to share explicit photos of her. Wait, what? No, that's a fucking gross way to mischaracterize what. No, that's disgusting. She's literally saying, she's making it seem like Harry was like, oh yeah, this is a domestic violence victim. It's time to pounce. Like, that's fucking insane. She even said this woman was a car crash victim. Harry took advantage of her car crash. The fuck? I don't know. This is Hannah. Unfortunately, many content creators on X embedded her video from my thread last night and misconstrued the truth about what she said. Last night on Space, we held to give the girls a platform to share the story. She clarified everything. Summary, Harry Sisson worked for a young man named Camel Maroon. Wait, what? Camel was potentially coaching and grooming a 14-year-old autistic teen in Australia. According to Hannah, she informed Harry about Camel's behavior. Harry acted as if he was appalled and said he was going to report the issue to the FBI. Once he said those things, Hannah was happy and said, okay, I'm glad we can be friends again. Harry then immediately asked Hannah for news. However, Harry lied. He did not report the issue to anyone. He stayed silent and continued working for Camel. The fuck is this? I don't know. What? He worked with a pedophile? Who is the... Didn't another TikTok have a car crash defense when facing criticism? Yeah, it was in that situation. Here's a TikTok take, Lamau.
Today we are talking about Gen Z's favorite.
Okay, no, I don't. No, this is fucking Brett Cooper, dude. This is new Brett Cooper. Like, what? So the way this works is he was like, yeah, I reported that pedophile. Can you show me your titties? Like, is that what happened? Like, cause that's pretty fucking insane if that's the case. That seems a bit far-fetched. Hey, queen, I reported that pedophile for you. Can I see them titties now? It's a bit far-fetched, I'm sorry. While we are not accusing Harry of a crime, it is important that everyone understands that knowing of a crime and not reporting it for your own benefit is considered a crime in and of itself. So you are accusing him of a crime. This one was so all over the place that I couldn't even figure it out. From what I understand, they were already in an intimate relationship. She shows printed out screenshots. I don't even know. She has printed out screenshots?
Harry.
What the I'm not saying anything. Okay. That's okay. She has more than one. You didn't see this? No, I did not. You want to know why? Because I'm fucking 33 years old. And also because pretty sure she's a Hasanabi head. I mean, she was dating Harry. She couldn't have been that much of a Hasanabi head if she was dating.
Honestly, you can't use the age excuse unless you get kids. It's honestly like, I get a decade on Hassan. Like literally. And I got time for dog shit. Because I ain't got kids. Give yourself time for fucking petty, stupid, fucking meaningless dog shit. You know why? Because all life is petty, meaningless, fucking petty dog shit. Take that from an old person. Believe me, kids, if you have any kind of optimism, you should use it now. Or don't have kids. Just don't have kids. You want to be happy when you're older? I don't give a fuck. They're all lying. All these people are like, kids, oh, I've never been happier. Fuck you. If I had kids, I would fucking just off myself. I would unalive immediately. I'd be like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I hate this. They're crying. And then like later in life when they're just like, hate me. Fuck that.
Harry Sisson. Right? Are there Harry Sisson heads in this community? Are there girlies in the girly pop nation that are sending news to Harry Sisson? You almost said 40? No, I'm not. I'm 33 years old. You can see why the DNC likes him. He's got the Bill Clinton firing him. No, see, that's what I mean. No, Bill Clinton did infinitely more abusive shit. Like, what are we talking about? At that point, comparing Bill Clinton to Harry Sisson isn't making Harry Sisson look worse. It's making Bill Clinton's crimes infinitely more normalized, okay? You're reducing Bill Clinton's crimes in that regard. This is what I'm talking about. This is the other side of saying everything is fucking abuse. Do you see what I mean? Like, what is the pedophile thing seems like to be the most significant and more most severe. of the allegations other than all this stuff. What is this? This is Camille Thomas Maroon, owner of Impulse, previously thought to be the girlfriend of Harry Sasson based on his name. In the video below, Harry's ex refers to him as an employer, implies that he has an inappropriate relationship with a minor and Harry's aware of it. What is this? Dude, I'm sorry. A guy that fucking ats cat turd? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing here? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck this is. I feel like we're diving into like, this is the issue when you got like right-wing Twitter blue checkmark power farmers that are doing investigative reporting. Yeah, also, Harry's a DNC operative. He's worked for tons of pedophiles. How is that news? True. I didn't even think about it like that. You know exactly what's happening here? The right's going to exploit and farm this. I don't know. Maybe. This is the kind of story that would do numbers at a high school. Yeah. Well, that also does make sense, to be fair, because, like, we have devolved pretty dramatically. So, like, we are trapped in a high school mentality. Harry's video on his thirst trap isn't clear that his new girlfriend is aware of the other women, but after today, I'm pretty sure she will be made aware. Harry's not apologized for his behavior. He called all these women insane as seen at the top of the thread. I think he just called one of the women insane, but that doesn't really matter, especially if that person has a valid claim, and calling her insane is inappropriate and completely unacceptable. Yeah, the thing that I think is the most fucked up is if true, the whole working with a pedophile is ridiculous. It's completely unacceptable. You already know Candy Owens is covering this for 2 weeks? Doubt it. Maybe. The biggest political content creator on Twitch already made a video on it? Wait, no. Asmongold covered it? No, you're fucking lying. Let me go to my favorite political content creator. No, he hasn't. You guys are such fucking liars, dude. He has not. He covered it? Bro, if you go to Harry Sasson's TikToks, he has one saves where it's an edit of you and is shirtless. Maybe bro likes cucumbers and you know. What? It does seem like he's taking advantage of women in vulnerable situations. I don't think he did anything specifically abusive, but it's an alarming pattern if true and could signal more nasty behavior. Why? Because one of the women he was talking to inevitably got into a car crash, and another woman he was talking to at a certain point in her life was a victim of domestic abuse. That is an insane way to design a pattern of seeking out victims that are vulnerable. Oh my God, he did.
So basically,
oh my God, he did. Oh my God, he did. Oh my God, he did. Oh my God, he did.
This guy, we all remember this guy, right? You know, the white dudes for Harris, super big Democrat guy. It turns out this dude convinced 11 different women he respected them for more than their bodies while
oh my God, the woman respecter has joined in on the fun, dude. Oh my God.
Waiting them to send explicit photos themselves through Snapchat. When the women discovered each other, he called them insane and attempted to coerce them into telling the public that the photos were fake.
Dude, this is like not even news if a right-winger does it. It's news if a right-winger does this because they're like, oh, finally, consensual adult relationships in the on the right-wing media ecosystem. What are we talking about right now? I'm losing my fucking mind. Like, are we on the same planet right now? Like, this only makes the news because they're shocked that a right-winger got, like, laid by 11 different women consensually. A right-winger doing this is dog bites man, a lib man doing it is man bites. No, a right-winger doing this is not even dog bites man. You want to know why? Because right-wingers actually do abusive shit. And sometimes liberals do abusive shit and leftists do abusive shit too. Abuse is not, like, simply ideological. The difference is there's like, this doesn't meet the standard of abuse in my opinion, unless I'm like missing a key detail of this entire thing that everyone else is seeing here. Because if your thing is like, oh, he's woke, but then he also was like sexting numerous women at the same time without being in an exclusive relationship with a single one of them, then that's not abuse. Like, what? That's not abuse at all. The fuck?
And tonight, people voted for it. We failed our daughters, our mothers, our sisters, our wives. America failed them.
I don't think anybody could comprehend how genuinely terrifying it is to do something like this.
I mean, 11 girls all finding out they're just all side hoes. All of them are.
I found somebody who
The woman respecter has logged in to talk about how Harry is a hypocrite. Dude, it's awesome. Being a right-winger is so awesome. You have no values. You don't have to have any values. You can just be like, I'm apolitical. Yeah, these fucking whores. How dare Harry not respect these bitches? Like, he's not even trying to present himself as like, he's not even trying to present himself as a person who is pro-women at all. It's just pure, look at how hypocritical this fucking stupid idiot is. That's it. Oh my God. Oh, the fucking, the beauty of coming across as nihilistic and not remotely associated with any sort of ideological boundaries or morality. It's fucking awesome. It's so good. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, a guy who tweeted about hoflation talking about how devastating this is. I'm sure he's gonna at the end of it be like, these women are being crazy or something, right?
I thought respected me for more than my physical appearance.
Yeah, he's manipulating them. I care about women. I respect women. No, you don't. You say that so you can find more of them. It's like, you know, the angler fish, they have like the little light in front of them.
When we asked, when all like a fucking dozen of us asked, hey, are you talking to anybody? He lied and that he was not talking to anybody.
Like, have you ever had like a girl you talk to like in text a lot? This guy is doing that 11 times.
Okay, Asmongold, I don't think people in your audience have girls that they talk and text to a lot, unless it's their mom. And it's usually just sending the same text message at the same time every day. Hey mom, where are my dino chicken nuggies? Or, hey mom, the dino chicken nuggies were a little cold in the middle today. Can you please fix that problem? Outside of that, I don't think there's a lot of consistent texting of women that you want to fuck going on in your community. Oh no. Oh.
That's like doing 11 sets of daily quests every single day.
Oh, this is good. Yeah, no, definitely. A community that understands that reference definitely is talking to women to have sex with them. Talking to women is just like a daily quest that you gotta do in WoW. That was a banger joke for his intended audience, though.
This guy was farming. This is like 40, 50 hours a week he's spending talking to these girls. Oh, man. White dudes for Harris are breaking up. You know what this really reminds me of? COVID Minecrafters. The moment that one of them gets exposed, everybody else immediately in that group just instantaneously roaches out on them.
Okay, this is also funny because, like, you're shitting on the dude, and then you're shitting on other dudes
To be fair,
for
Asmongold
also
knows a
shitting
whole
on
lot
the
about
dude.
roaches.
So what's the expectation? If he actually did do some serious, like, crimes or whatever, why is the expectation to double down and protect him? Like, come on, bro. It's, like, kind of ridiculous to say that while you're at OTK, or were at OTK initially. Like, that's insane. That's insane. No Rich Campbell video on his channel? Weird. Yeah, like, what happened?
I'm not friends with Chris and Harry.
Damn. It's over.
And that's it.
Wow.
Honestly, right now, I'm tired. I'm defeated. I've gone through so many emotions in the last 2 days.
It's not complicated. He's just a weird manipulator. So many of these cases, these are just emotional manipulators that are taking advantage of a situation like this while simultaneously.
Oh, God. Of course, you hit the angle of, like, he's being a feminist to get pussy. I hate this shit. I hate this shit, okay? Let me tell you something. It is the biggest lie. It is the biggest fucking lie that right-wingers tell each other all the time, that men are being feminists to get pussy, okay? I don't think women care about whether or not you're outwardly feminist, okay? As long as you, like, show basic grooming capabilities, and I mean grooming in, like, the literal, not the...
That word has been so fucking annihilated just in the last couple of years. That he immediately has to clarify himself. Actual term of, like, just keeping yourself clean and prim and proper, aka keep yourself groomed. And by doing that, you are grooming yourself.
the way that people understand it online. I mean, like literally self-grooming capabilities, and you're kind of clean, and you're not like a fucking asshole.
What kind of world
the
are we living
bar
in?
is so
2025 is fucking
goddamn
dog
low.
shit.
The bar is so fucking low. As long as you're not like outwardly misogynistic in a violent fashion, most women are gonna be like, okay, I'll fuck this guy. It's so cataclysmically low, the bar. I keep telling people is low. Fellas, is low. You don't have to do much. You don't have to do much. Some women will fuck you even if you don't actually reach that bar. Honestly, they will. It's so crazy. The same guys who say men pretend to be feminists to get women say that women don't want beta feminist men. So which is it? That's also a good point. I never really thought about it like that. You're right. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, dude. You're only presenting yourself as a feminist to get pussy.
There's a term that
that's also another thing that I find very funny when people say that to me, especially.
Syncretism?
Okay? Yeah. The thing that I find especially funny.
It's the fascist.
When people say that to me, it's like no. I think it'd be okay. I think I'll be all right. And never. I don't have to be a fucking. I don't have to be a feminist for that reason. This is before Asmongold came out of the. This is when Asmongold was more apolitical, let's say, as responses from parties that now probably have a very different opinion on him would imply. But Hassan, please stop saying how the bar is low. We need to get that bar higher and not just get a bunch of guys to start barely clearing it. Okay, first of all, if guys were to barely clear that bar of don't be a fucking asshole and like demonstrate basic, basic grooming capabilities, you would be happy, I promise. The dating pool would be better than it's ever been. Because they're not even fucking clearing that bar. Most dudes refuse to clear it.
Obviously patronizing you, talking down to you about their high-minded.
No, they say you're a misogynist. Yeah, I know they say that, which is really funny. Yeah, sure, I'm a fucking misogynist. I don't. It's like, I wish misogynists actually thought I was a misogynist. I get so much fucking clout. It's only fucking rap fans that say I'm a misogynist. And then it's right wingers that want to shit on me that say I'm a misogynist. I'm like, if I was, you'd be a fan of me. The fuck do you mean? Ay, ay, ay.
Political values, they only hold to attract more of these girls. If you're talking to 11 girls at the same time and lying to all of them, you don't give a fuck about women. Like, what are we talking about?
America failed women tonight. So
yeah, wash your balls. They smell sometimes. Yeah, I'm proud of you, Nick. That's a good message.
Sorry by what may come.
So the entire video was just like, the male feminist turning out to be a creep stereotype remains undefeated. This guy, how much you want to bet? Dudes who write stuff like this of every sex worker on Twitter being like, come on, please, let me get a smell of your coochie, queen. And then like when they don't respond, they go, I'm going to fucking find your house and I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you dead. Many such cases. And then they're like, oh, yeah, it's fucking guys. These fucking idiots, dude. Look at this fucking gay ass. He's a creep. Not me. He said recently the biggest red flag in the world isn't a guy being right-wing. It's him saying he's a feminist. Also, for the record, there was a real meta in like 2016, like around that time when I was branded woke bae as well by BuzzFeed. Even though I was not the biggest fan of that moniker, the idea of like over the top male feminists that were just like rapists and shit, and that was a real phenomena for sure. Like I will admit that there was definitely a lot of dudes who were just like straight up rapists, and they would masquerade in public as though they were huge allies of women or whatever. Having said that, I mean, as far as I understand, there's not even an inclination here that Harry is a rapist. So I think that's fucking insane. Buddy, if you're a socialist, please be consistent. Stop buying expensive things, Louis Vuitton bags, pack up and go to Turkey, your home country, and fight for socialism there. If you want to, you can come to me in Russia. Here you are also need to fight for socialism. And please don't forget to bring a Louis Vuitton bag and Dior pants. Dude, I wear a lot of branded shit. It's just funny that you're pointing to two brands that I never purchase. It's just that we have an average salary of $680 per month in Russia. I can't afford this. Buddy, if you're a socialist, please be consistent. Stop buying expensive things. Louis Vuitton bag. Pack up and go to Turkey, your home country, and fight for socialism there. Body! No, Louis Vuitton is way too logomania for me to purchase.
Hey everyone, I just got my ashes and I'm ready for Lent. It's gonna be the most transformative Lent of our lives. Check it out. God bless.
Do you guys know Lisa from Blackpink?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She has this song called Rockstar where one of the lyrics in the chorus is, I'm gonna do my best Lisa impression. Lisa, can you teach me Japanese? I said, hi. Little known fact, she's actually recalling an interaction she had with Gwen Stefani. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God, I thought you were for real. I thought that was a real fun fact.
I just love the idea of Gwen Stefani being like, Lisa, can you teach me Japanese? Okay. Hello, and welcome back to A Bit Fruity. The other day, I saw a tweet from a one Gwen Stefani that absolutely stopped me dead in my tracks. Would one of you like to read this Gwen Stefani tweet? Because I feel like it needs the feminine touch.
Wow. At Jonathan Rooney, you are a powerful, inspirational human. What an enlightening, intelligent, beautiful interview. Thank you for being you, GX.
The interview in question was one between Jonathan Rooney, an actor known for his roles in various Christian TV shows and movies, and a one Tucker Carlson. I was perplexed. I was shaken. I was paralyzed. Gwen Stefani of I'm just a girl.
That's right.
I'm sorry. I've spent the last 48 hours looking and listening to nothing except Gwen Stefani, and so it's really just like her kind of I'm just a girl, like the way she really kind of curls around certain consonants is front and center of my brain right now. But this was Gwen Stefani of No Doubt promoting Tucker Carlson of The Great Replacement Theory. For the rest of the day, there were but 4 words running through my head. This shit is bananas. My day as I had planned it was over. I needed to know everything. I'd fallen into a sweet escape that felt neither sweet. Sorry.
This whole episode is gonna be puns.
I started writing the intro and I couldn't stop. I'd fallen into a sweet escape that felt neither sweet nor like an escape, rather a rabbit hole. So I went to Gwen's Instagram, now littered with advertisements for the Hallow Daily Prayer app, advertisements on which thousands of commenters are saying things like, what happened to Gwen Stefani? And bring back Gwen. I went on TikTok to find a viral video of a gay man getting his tattoo of Gwen Stefani's face removed, where too I found similar comments, like, Gwen Stefani would hate Gwen Stefani. This feels like a recurring script in pop culture lately, especially for people in and around my age group. Pop culture fixtures that we grew up alongside, making, as so many have, the MAGA pivot. In today's episode, I wanted to come together, Taylor, Kat, me, you the listener, to do what has become an unfortunate ritual lately, mourn a pop diva. Specific to Gwen, I want to figure out where and why the pivot from punk rock princess to Harajuku culture vulture to tradwife occurred, and draw from it broader conclusions about privilege, cultural appropriation, celebrity artifice, and whatever the hell is going on with that prayer app. As usual lately, I am joined by 2 of my best friends, Pat Tembarge and Taylor Lorenz. Welcome back to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having us back again.
And before we get into the meat of the episode, if you would like more of the show and or to support the show, we are over on Patreon with some bonus episodes. I recently did a bonus with trans culture critic Fran Tirado about Amelia Perez and the disaster that has come of representation politics. And I am doing some live shows this spring, which I would love to see you at. I'm so excited. It'll be just like the podcast, but live. We are doing shows in Toronto, Chicago, Philly, Brooklyn, Seattle, LA, and Portland this May and June. So if you're interested in that, the link will be in the episode description. So before we get into the chronology of Gwen's life and career and see how it shaped up to be what it is today, I want to ask you guys, like, how are you feeling going into this? And what is the mood given, you know, your personal and cultural relationship to Gwen Stefani?
Well, when you texted us and were like, have you guys seen what's going on with Gwen Stefani? I was like, no. And then as soon as we started putting the pieces together, and as soon as we started like doing research on this, I was just like, I should have really, like, it all makes so much more sense now, and I almost feel silly for not realizing how transparent, like, the Gwen Stefani act has been, but I think a lot of people are in the same boat, so I'm glad that we're gonna walk through it all.
You know, the Gwen Stefani thing was so wild to me because I haven't thought about her in years, but she was such a part of my childhood, like, as a millennial. Like, I think literally in like 5th grade, I definitely did not have one of her CDs because I was not allowed to listen to like that sort of music. But she was like popular, you know, she was so cool. I just remember having like young emotional relationships and like listening to her music. And
when I was in 5th grade, the Black Album from Metallica came. It was around 1990. Thank you.
Being obsessed, and she was so beautiful, and she had like the perfect washboard abs and like perfect hair. I mean, now looking back at some of her costumes, there's deeply problematic, but at the time she just seemed so theatrical and cool and like emo and awesome.
I remember there was a theme park in Cincinnati where I grew up where in like the kids section, they would always be playing The Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani.
Oh my God, Sweet Escape. That was a song that I feel like my friends and I would like blast in the car in the summers and like blasting it and like getting ice cream, and like that was such a good song.
Truly one of the best pop hooks of the 2000s, that woo-hoo, wee-hoo.
It's so instantly iconic and recognizable.
Well, Gwen Stefani was born in 1969, a few months after Woodstock, notably, in Anaheim, a city in Orange County, California.
That makes me so happy. It's so much older than. Love that, Stefan. Thank you. You look great though for your age. 1000%. Anything that makes me feel semi-younger, always appreciated. Gwen Stefani.
Our episode. Thank you so much for joining. Taylor, as our resident Californian on the podcast, would you like to describe maybe the political significance of Orange County, California?
Orange County, California is kind of weird because it's actually kind of a Republican stronghold, like Huntington Beach, and like so much of that area is MAGA. Like now it's pro-Trump, but it's always been right-leaning. A lot of big mega churches are down there, like Irvine. Like it's very Christian. It's very different than LA, even though it's right outside LA. It's like a suburb of LA practically, but like culturally, it's much closer to like the South or somewhere else. Like it is this like sort of different pocket of culture within California.
Gwen's Italian-American dad was a marketing executive for Yamaha motorcycles and would often go on trips for business to Japan. Her mother was an Irish-American homemaker. Gwen had an older brother named Eric and 2 younger siblings. There's this great essay that I am going to reference a number of times throughout this episode. It's from 2018, and it's by a writer named Anne Helen Peterson. It's called The new Gwen Stefani is a lot like the old one. I'm going to link that essay in the episode description if you want to read it. But Anne wrote, Gwen had grown up in a devoutly Catholic home, which, over the years to come, she would describe as the Brady Bunch family, church every Sunday. Her mom got mad when she used the F word on stage, but took solace in the fact that she didn't have any tattoos or piercings. Her dad was thankful that Stefani spent her teen years playing piccolo in the school marching band. Her family had once taken a trip to the Vatican, on which Stefani, then aged 21, was forbidden to talk to boys. In a different interview, Gwen said, "We weren't rich, but we definitely had whatever we wanted."
That sounds like you're rich, by the way.
Yes, it does. So Gwen really enters the public imagination as the front member of No Doubt. No Doubt was formed in 1986 as a ska band by Gwen's older brother Eric and his friend John Spence. Originally, Gwen Stefani, I keep wanting to call her Gwyneth Paltrow. Jesus Christ. different episode. Let me know if you want it. That is truly another episode. That is another 6 episodes. Gwen Stefani. The year after No Doubt was formed, John Spence died by suicide, and Gwen's brother Eric slotted Gwen in as the lead singer. There's this interview that Gwen Stefani does in 2004 with Vogue, where there are a lot of really insane quotes that I think are revealing of an attitude about what it means to be a woman that she's had for basically her whole life, including while she was in No Doubt. In that interview, she says, "I was very passive. My brother did everything. I was like, I'm just the sister. And then after that, I was Tony's girlfriend," describing a relationship she had with a band member. "And that was good enough for me. I never really had any ambitions or goals or dreams."
Listen, when I read that, I was just like, I was so mad because I was like, this is just so performative. Like, whenever a woman tries to say, I have no inner life, like I have no ambitions, I have no hopes, I have no dreams, I have no goals, it's just not true. But it is something where it's like, very clearly you want people and men to have this idea of you that you're very non-threatening, and I think that it annoys me, especially because it's like Gwen Stefani here is creating a caricature of herself where she's dehumanizing herself. Like, she's basically saying, I'm just a blank slate for you to project onto. Whatever your expectations of me, I can meet them, which is like a fallacy, and it's also something that only a very specific kind of woman can get away with. Like, for a woman to be considered a blank slate, you have to conform to basically all of the most privileged aspects of being a woman. It only really works for her because she was like a white, conventionally attractive, and therefore non-threatening like type of woman who came from California, who could just as easily be like edgy as well as the girl next door. Like, it's very easy for her to take on whatever role, whatever the audience, whatever the person consuming her wants to see, she can be that person. But that in itself is a privilege. And by sitting there and being like, and lying, because we also know that like she does obviously, like she's very clearly a very ambitious woman. So it really pisses me off when women sit there and are like, I don't actually have ambitions. You see this so frequently with like women in conservative media. They're like, women should not have ambitions. Women should not want to work. Women should not want to like own anything. And it's like, shut up. You literally are like a multi-millionaire who runs her own media company. Like, you're literally Gwen Stefani. Like, don't tell me that you have no dreams or goals.
Trad wife Gwen Stefani.
It's ridiculous.
So, No Doubt, they have sort of a following within California, but nothing national, certainly nothing international. Nobody really knows who they are on the world stage yet. And then in 1990, No Doubt is signed by Jimmy Iovine, who is the co-founder of Interscope Records. Some years later, in 1995, No Doubt would release their smash hit album, Tragic Kingdom, of which you are most definitely familiar with, if not by name, then with the songs like Don't Speak, Spiderwebs, Just a Girl. Gwen Stefani really takes on this, you know, feminist punk rock image. She kind of becomes the image of those things in the latter half of the 90s. Taylor, I feel like Kat and I are both like Gen Z.
I was there for it. I remember that shit was fucking brand new.
Old one.
The brand new fucking drop.
Old hag of a
No doubt. Oh, goddamn old. Holy shit, I'm having anxiety with
Well,
that.
we were talking on the phone last night, and you were kind of describing like what Gwen Stefani meant to you as a middle schooler during this time.
She was just so cool and so independent. And I think also the lyrics, like obviously I'm Just a Girl had been out for a while, but like it was so pervasive and it felt like this like independent anthem because she, first of all, she's the lead singer of this like cool band.
I'm not
right?
that
And
old.
at
I
the
was in high
time,
school.
so much of the pop music landscape, at least during my like tween and then later teen years, was like the Britney Spears era. It was the Christina Aguilera era. Like it was all about these like this sort of like hyper feminine like pop star women single acts, and then on the male side you had like Blink 182, like Oasis was kind of like, I don't know, just like all these like male kind of like bands that I feel like guys were into, and like they would listen to it, like the Warped Tour or whatever. And so like Gwen was this like kind of like gateway into that like more male world, or like she actually seemed to be like challenging the gender norms in a way. I liked that she had this sort of alternative version of femininity in my perception, because she wasn't just like, I'm the genie in a bottle or whatever, which obviously like, you know, Christina's amazing. We love her.
Yeah, we love her.
And they were forced to, like, now we know so much about sort of like the way that the pop industry commodifies women, but I think like at the time she seemed rebellious. Like she would wear these like low slung like big pants and like cool tops and had the chopsticks in her hair, which we can get into. But like I remember I actually went to Soho in middle school, and there was this big, I can't remember the name, it was like this big Asian market. I think it's still there. Oh, Pearl River Market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Soho, Chinatown. I would always go to Canal Street to buy knockoff. I think I was trying to get like a knockoff Kate Spade bag on Canal Street, and like we're walking around, and I remember my friend bought like one of those like big kimono type tops because it was like in, because I think like Gwen was wearing it at the time, or it was like definitely part of that like late 90s, early 2000s style, which now reads as crazy cultural appropriation, but at the time seemed like alt and cool, and she seemed alt and cool.
She really took on this sort of feminist image that, you know, you read early interviews with her, and it definitely seems like she wanted to take the mantle that had been handed over by like, you know, a Courtney Love type and make it softer. I think Gwen's image has always been attempting to hold two truths at once, which is on one hand this sort of like creatively adventurous, feminist type, irreverent, creative soul with this like aspiring trad wife. And again, from that 2004 cover interview that she did, she was describing when Jimmy Iovine signed her to Interscope. Here's the quote. Kat, I feel like you're gonna love to hate this, but she said, Jimmy took me aside and said, Gwen, you are going to be a huge star in 6 years. I was like, first of all, who the hell are you? And second of all, I'm not going to be in this band 6 years from now. I'm going to be having 14 children and be married. Then, practically to the day, Don't Speak was #1 around the world. It's pretty spooky. We always laugh about that.
It's really funny because it's like you were saying, Taylor, just listening to Gwen Stefani's biggest songs, you would think that she was, if not feminist, just simply an alternative. Like, she presents this idea in her music, and she did this throughout various eras of her career, where she would kind of nod to the fact of like misogyny and like how she's considered as a woman. Also very similar to what Pink does, I feel like, in a lot of her music at around this time. Like, they're presented as like a thing that you can still consume, but that presents like a very slightly alternative view of womanhood. And it's ironic that that's what she presented in her music, but that at the exact same time, she was saying like, literally, I want to be a trad wife. I want to be like 25 years old with 14 children on a farm. And I also think it's very interesting the fact that like Disneyland has played such an important role like symbolically throughout her life, because she grew up in Anaheim and she was part of like the Anaheim youth who would spend so much time at Disneyland, which, as unfortunately a Disney adult, someone who reads a lot of books about Disney history, I think it's really interesting that she grew up in this community that was like very affluent and had like the resources to spend a lot of time at Disneyland, which, don't get me wrong, at the time I think it cost like $15 to go there, but still, you know, Tragic Kingdom, they use Disney as like a symbol and sort of are like rebelling against it in how they posture it. But at the same time, like, she has spent her whole life frequently going to Disney today today. She's known as a celeb who is frequently like spotted at Disney. She takes her kids there. And the juxtaposition of like Disney as the ultimate symbol of American capitalism, the ultimate symbol of being consumer friendly, consumer safe, non-threatening. Like, I just think it makes a lot of sense that in the same way in her music and in her persona, she's combining these two things. And like, that makes sense to me that that's part of her aesthetic.
Do you guys know about the 1995 Roe versus Wade anniversary show appearance? Okay, so this is something that is written about in that 2018 essay. But basically, in 1995, as No Doubt is exploding in fame with their album Tragic Kingdom, they're asked to perform at a Roe versus Wade anniversary show where Gwen gets on stage and says, quote, "If I got pregnant right now, I wouldn't get an abortion. But isn't it cool that nobody can tell me what I can and can't do?" And the the organizers of the show were like, we did not know that she was going to say that.
I think it's so interesting how she's always actually been consistent with her conservative values. But I guess maybe because the conservative movement didn't have the same sort of like cultural capital and power, it was so not perceived. Like, she's doing these things that like now, today, imagine that on Twitter, you know, we would immediately sort of contextualize her differently. But I think also just the media climate was so different, and the media climate was so misogynistic back then. She could maintain that like hyper-feminist independent image despite her repeatedly saying all of this stuff that makes it clear that that's not who she is.
So what this reminds me of is how in this, I feel like, cultural period where it's like post-Roe, Roe still exists at this time, and like within like the popular discourse around abortion, you see this weird sort of thing emerge where it's like in Twilight, the whole end of the Twilight series is about how like Bella Swan wants the choice to not have an abortion, essentially. And like the word abortion does not appear in the Twilight series, but this was a conversation at the time, was like, why would you have a narrative that's so focused on a woman who like wants to choose to keep her kid and not like have an abortion? And Gwen Stefani saying this at this like abortion centered event, I'm like, she's doing like the Stephanie Meyer Bella Swan thing.
I am so appreciative of the breadth of your references. You're just like, Gwen Stefani is Disney. Gwen Stefani is Bella Swan. It's so aspirational. Cultural appropriation is obviously a huge through line in Gwen Stefani's entire career, and it starts really early with Gwen Stefani, if you recall, during the No Doubt era, wearing a bindi.
Yes.
Which is, if you're unfamiliar, it's a jewelry or a mark, often a red dot, worn by a lot of South Asian women, specifically in India, as usually a spiritual symbol evoking the concept of the third eye. And Gwen started wearing this. You can see it like in all of her music videos and photo shoots and performances. Gwen, who again, Irish-American mom, Italian-American dad, she was in a relationship with her bandmate, Tony, in No Doubt, who was Indian and whose mother wore a bindi. So Gwen Stefani would go to their house for, you know, family gatherings, and she was like, I'm just trying to imagine like Gwen like being like, I love that, you know.
Like, can I get one of those?
And then she did. She went to like Claire's or something, and she bought some stick-on jewels, and she started wearing a bindi.
Yeah, this was so part of her aesthetic back then also. Like, I mean, it's interesting how she was always tied in with like Asian cultures, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember any discourse around it. I feel like they sold those bindis. I mean, people replicated that. Like, that was a accessory.
Yeah, I feel like any pushback in the 90s and early 2000s to cultural appropriation was like, since there was no Twitter, there was not a way to communicate it to the masses really quickly in the way that discourse around cultural appropriation would later evolve. And I feel like people who did speak out early on about it were oftentimes just like really easily dismissed.
Where would they even speak out too?
Totally. Like, there's barely a mechanism to do it.
One of, I feel like, the hallmarks when we're talking about cultural appropriation, because people always love to say, oh, well, you know, appreciation versus appropriation, what's the difference, meow, meow. But I feel like one of the hallmarks of cultural appropriation is the relative political power of the cultures which are being borrowed and which are borrowing. And in this case, it's, you know, a well-to-do white woman in America borrowing from cultures that outside of like, you know, aesthetic costume value are not celebrated and are often, you know, denigrated and discriminated against in American culture. It's about, you know, this white woman ultimately being able to profit and then discard accessories and looks from these cultures. And Gwen really does that a lot throughout her career. And Helen Peterson wrote, no matter how much Stefani borrowed from other people and cultures to create her look, it was framed as uniquely hers. When Madonna showed up with her I thought this was crazy. When Madonna showed up with her hands hennaed at an MTV Music Video Awards in 1998, Entertainment Weekly suggested she was cribbing Stefani's look. Stefani's response was, quote, I was a little shocked by that, but whatever. I'm sure there are things I nicked off of her from the 80s.
Zero self-reflection.
Which is also a through line.
Also, didn't Gwyneth Paltrow, sorry to bring it back to her, but didn't she say she invented yoga? Or like she popularized yoga? So I feel like this is a kind of like a thing that white women celebrities, especially in like the lifestyle or like cultural trend-setting space, are like, that was my thing. And it's like, it's literally not at all. And it's just like to such an offensive degree.
When we talk about Gwen Stefani and cultural appropriation, we often relegate it to things like the bindi and the way that she would seriously mooch off of Japanese and Harajuku culture, which we are about to talk about. But when I was outlining this episode and I was looking at really just like the through line of who Gwen Stefani is and perhaps always been, I think it's helpful, maybe, and you tell me what you think, but I feel like it could be helpful to make sense of her sort of like feminist punk rock era as another cultural costume, and maybe the one that resonates with people the most because that's the one where she entered public imagination.
Yeah, it is so funny because I don't even know that it's something that she embraced as much as like it was sort of put on her maybe by like the public and by the music industry, and sort of trying to position herself as different and just like, again, being the front woman of this band at a time when that was seen as like sort of subversive, and like you said, she's like sort of alternative and cool. But it doesn't seem like she ever embraced it herself. It's funny, like you said, that it's everyone's first impression, and first impressions are always our lasting impression because it's how we're introduced to this artist. And often it's very hard for artists to like evolve past, you know, what they're originally known for. But it's just kind of funny because it doesn't even sound like it was something that she really embraced.
From that Vogue 2004 interview, Gwen said, the scene that I grew up in with female artists like Bikini Kill and Hole and all these more punk rock girls, I always had the pressure of, you've got to be a feminist and you've got to hate guys and you've got to cuss and be tough. And I was never like that. I grew up like a Catholic good girl. That always kind of scared me, the pressure of having to be so cool or like fuck you to the world. But I kind of got over that and realized that yes, I love to dress up and I love to wear makeup and be myself. I like being a girl. I like having a door open for me. I like all the traditional stuff and I won't deny it.
So it's like basically in order to sell herself as countercultural rather than do something authentic, because authentically she is not countercultural at all. So in order to market herself and sell herself, the clearest path for her to do that was to just steal from another culture. And we'll get into it more, but I think the way that she presents Japanese culture in itself is so deeply problematic. It's like she's trying to create edge where there is none. So she's going about it by just pilfering from Japanese culture.
I also, obviously, like, it just the way that she perceives feminism is so warped, and just the pick-me type attitude of like, I'm not like those other female artists. I like to have the door open for me, and that's why I'm not a real feminist. Like, it's bizarre.
I would just like to take a quick break from the show to thank Factor for sponsoring this episode and making this podcast possible. I have personally just felt life kicking into high gear lately. Between ever-evolving personal responsibilities and new work stuff like these live podcast shows, which I am so excited for. But it does reach a point. Like, there is a great chance that the podcast episode you are listening to or watching right now was edited at 4 a.m, which is to say, I am looking lately for more places in my daily life where I can take some thoughtful shortcuts, and Factor is one of those shortcuts. Factor is a meal delivery service that offers a huge range of chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy and quick, because every Factor meal is ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. Every single week, Factor has 40 different meal options and 8 different meal preferences to choose from. My go-to is Protein Plus. I know, the twink gym rat. I'm just kidding. Which has all sorts of delicious protein-rich meals that I, first of all, cannot cook because I have not invested the time into learning how to cook them. And second of all, honestly, just don't have the desire to make the time for. Because for me, if I have an extra hour in the late afternoon to either cook or nap, I am so sorry, Gordon Ramsay, but the lights are going out. If you would like to try Factor, you can head over to factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use the code FACTORPODCAST for 50% off your first box and free shipping. That's factormeals.com/factorpodcast with the code FACTORPODCAST. Thank you so much to Factor, and now let's get back to the show.
Something really interesting about this point in her career when she's transitioning out of No Doubt and transitioning into herself as a solo act. I've been listening to the song What You Waiting For a lot recently, and I've watched the music video multiple times.
We can't play it, but I'll sing because I know that's what everyone wants. What you waiting, what you waiting, what you waiting, what you waiting, what you waiting. Ugh. All right, Kat.
That was really good. So in this song, and specifically, I think the music video is really, really interesting because one of the things that stuck out to me about the lyrics in the song is there's a part where she's like, I know it's so messed up how our society all thinks about women. Like, that's the implication. And so listening to it, I was like...
Okay, I never do this, but I'm gonna end the stream. If anyone is watching this... Oh my god, I had this the whole time. Embarrassing. Anyway, if literally one person is watching this, I don't care. For some reason, for some reason, we're literally watching this. You know, comment. If anyone comment, I swear I will comment back. If you're looking for it to be commented.